Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ready? Hey. Must be Canadian week. 2 Canadians in a row. Salute, my friend.
Who was the other one? Oh, yeah. The
Jordan
guy was on
Peterson.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, Jordan was on yesterday. Your country's in revolt. Do you know about this? Show this video. Look at this video that I sent Jamie.
This is huge. Look at my go forever. This is by Atchison outside of Edmonton, heading to Calgary, January 23rd.
It's a giant convoy of trucks that's apparently some insane amount of people, like 50,000 trucks, that are headed to Ottawa to protest the vaccine mandates by Trudeau.
And they're all coming from Canada because
They're
they're not
all
allowed to
in
come
Canada. They're all
That's
in
crazy.
Canada. It's all Canadian truckers. Because apparently they're all being mandated that they have to get vaccinated. And they're like, hey, we don't even contact anybody. We're in our truck.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
we just drive. And, you know, okay, this is another one that I sent Jamie. Watch this one. This girl is like at a bar and she, I don't know if she's a stripper or what, but this is this guy's birthday. Don't you hear it? Where's the volume? Here we go. So watch this. She just pours water on him, and then check this out. All fun and games, right? It's all fun, right?
I have a feeling it's going to end bad over.
She tases him. Oh my god.
Not good.
Okay.
Yeah. Fucking tased him and lit him on
I saw
fire.
that video the other day.
You saw it too?
Yeah,
Whoops.
yeah. Yeah.
First of all, who gets tased at their birthday party?
Good point.
That seems.
It's a
what kind
lot.
of friends?
They're just sitting at the bar. There's just a
Yeah.
stun gun ready to go.
I mean, when you get that burnt, like, how long was that? 10 seconds he was on fire for? 5 seconds maybe?
Yeah, you could probably recover from that. Like Steve-O does wild shit like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But he had to get like serious
No.
skin transplants.
Yeah.
Remember last time we saw him? He had like
Really?
bandages all over his arms. Yeah. That guy goes.
How do you explain that to your wife, though?
Well, she knows.
Well, now she knows.
I don't know if is he married?
Steve-O's, but I don't know about this guy.
Oh, that guy.
He's gonna
Yeah,
have an
that's
issue.
going to be a problem. Well, the video is out, so he's going to have to explain that. But Steve-O's wife is fully aware that he's out of his fucking mind. But that poor guy. So, my friends, for people who don't know you, it's been a few years since you've been on the podcast. You were once a lawyer in Montreal or on your way to becoming a lawyer, and you were like, fuck this life. And now you're a spearfisher person, which seems to be, if you looked at that, like on paper, like you're like, how? No, that's a recreational activity. That's not something that but you figured out a way with your smart brain to actually monetize it and
I did.
and promote it. And it's very positive because it's like you're promoting, like, first of all, you're promoting freedom to choose to live your life the way you want to live, which in your case was like, I don't want to be locked in a cubicle. I don't want to be in an office. I don't want to do this. And this diving in the water, holding your breath and pew, 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 shooting fish. How's that working out? How many years has it been now?
It's been about, 3 years and a half now since I was on the podcast.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for a good maybe 5 years.
Have your parents settled into it yet?
They made a bit of way into it, but they still...
They wish you
The
were a
first
lawyer.
question is more about, like, are you making good money? Are you fine with that? Which is fair enough. You know, when you're
Right.
older and you care for your kid, you just want them to be good,
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it only makes sense. But it's like they must realize that you're like a social media success now. It's like the whole thing it's actually got weight of its own. It's got some momentum. You know, I see your posts and they're very exciting, and you're deep, deep, deep in the water with a spear gun in your underwear, like swimming around. It's all very exciting, right?
I'm way too cold to be wearing underwear in the water. I wish I was, but
Well, sometimes you are, aren't you? Most of
even
times,
when the water's
wetsuits.
80, 90 degrees, I always have a wetsuit.
Is that because like your body is 95, right? What's the human body normally?
37 Celsius.
Oh, you Canadians.
98.6.
98.6?
Yeah.
Right, 98.6. So like anything under that. Like when I had a waterbed at one point in time, and if you're ever in a waterbed and the heat element goes out, you can't sleep in the waterbed. Like, you can't sleep in a cold waterbed. It freezes you. It sucks water from your body. Like, if you're in a waterbed and it's 70 degrees, it's not like being on a 70-degree mattress. It's brutal.
I had no clue.
Yeah, you would think that it wouldn't be like being in the water, but it feels just like being in the water. It's like, I had to sleep on the ground. Yeah, I had to sleep on. I had to sleep on my carpet.
That's crazy.
That's
No,
back-
but that's not the main reason why I wear wetsuits, because there's a lot of creepy stuff out there, and I don't want fire coral, a bunch of different things. So I just want to make sure that my skin is protected.
Does anybody make a wetsuit that's like Kevlar?
That I know of.
Would that work? Because like Kevlar stops knives and bullets. Wouldn't it stop like shark bites?
Why would it be? The problem is that it has to be flexible, because a freediving wetsuit is literally painted on your body.
Right.
So unless
Super flexible.
it has to be like, you have to. It's pretty uncomfortable to put on
Wetsuit
a
is?
wetsuit. Yeah.
Does it chafe your skin up too?
It's like firstly you can't put it on dry, so you have to put some soapy water in it.
Oh, okay.
So just that part. If it's cold outside, it's just that's a process
Yeah.
just in itself.
And so I know they make Kevlar clothes. Is it possible that they can see if they make Kevlar wetsuits?
We got one.
Oh, look at that. See?
Kevlar neoprene.
See, you don't want to die. I'm trying to help you. Don't get
Okay,
eaten.
I will start a company
Let me
of
see.
Kevlar
I was
wetsuit
trying to
tomorrow.
find
I think they already have one. Jamie's already found one.
Yeah. I at least have articles talking about it. Let me see. I mean,
Pretty great idea.
there's pictures, but I don't know.
Here
That
we
doesn't
go.
really help a lot.
Oh, you got to look like a
Yeah.
Martian.
Yeah.
Let me see.
But it says like they got.
Scientists got sharks to bite into Kevlar. This is what they found. What the fuck did you find? God damn it, ad blocker.
That would be so cool, because then you could make like a cool shark design
Yeah.
where, like, you white at bottom and dark gray at the top, so like fish can't see you from under, and then you can't see from the top either.
That's why sharks are white on the bottom, huh?
Yeah, so basically, if you look up white, you can't see it, and if you look down darker, you
Oh, so
kind of
sneaky.
blend it. Yeah.
Isn't that fascinating how, I mean, you must see this a lot because you're always diving, how animals have figured out a way somehow or another through natural selection and evolution to blend in with their environment, like with coral reefs. And, you know, it's like, it's so interesting, like how animals figure out a way to camouflage themselves.
I mean, the ocean has been around for forever, so I mean, marine animals have way more time to evolve also. So it's every time I catch a fish, I always spend time looking at it, because it's the design behind any type of seafood is just mind blowing.
What did you show us,
It
Jamie?
said it was they're testing a material getting bit by a shark. But
Let me see it.
Yeah, you
Did it
couldn't-
work?
You can't tell, so
Oh, well, let's see.
it just looks like it's getting eaten.
So it's like a brick of the material?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they got it on a board just to see if it cuts through.
and I guess it didn't.
Why did the shark bite it? It's probably meat inside of it or something.
Yeah, they probably put like tuna inside of it.
They're so creepy. Such a fucking creepy animal.
I mean, even if it's better than getting your arm ripped off, but they're
Yeah.
definitely gonna break it.
Yeah, but you know, if it breaks it, wouldn't that be?
It's much
that's,
better.
Yeah, it's, you're not going to get massive tissue loss. You know, you have to get to
Yeah,
the
for
hospital
sure.
pretty quick. Plus, the shark will probably be frustrated and swim away. Hopefully.
I mean, it's most shark attack is very often, unless it's rare occasion. It's, you know, they take one bite and like, bleh, I don't really like that, and they just swim away.
Well, aren't we delicious? Why
Apparently
don't-
not. Apparently we taste like shit.
That's so weird. Because animals like us. I wonder why sharks don't like us.
I'm not sure. We're not
Because they
fishy
love
enough.
seals. Maybe seals are fucking delicious.
Maybe. Oh, I
Maybe that's
tried
the
it.
thing. Yeah, you tried seal?
I tried it. It's seal is actually very invasive in Canada. It's been for a lot of years.
Really?
The normal population that it should be around like 400 to 500,000, and now there's above 4 million.
4 million.
So it creates a lot of issues on fish stocks, lobsters, things like that. So it creates a lot of problems. So basically, there's different people who use it. You can eat it. You can wear it.
You can
It's-
wear seals?
I have seal boots.
Oh, you shouldn't tell people that on this podcast. They're going to come for you. Don't you think, Jamie?
Well,
seals are cute.
I mean,
the problem with seals is like they hit a ball with their nose. They look
well,
cute.
it's unless you experience -40 weather, Like you can try with
Minus
your
40
H&M
Celsius?
boot. It's the same in Fahrenheit.
Oh, that's right. That's the number where it becomes the same.
It is.
Yeah.
It's minus 40, and it's Canada gets really, really cold, and
I heard about
sometimes
that.
it's hard to find clothes that makes you.
So seal is
Warm
the
enough.
answer? That's the best stuff to wear, really?
I mean, it's when you think about it. Okay, let's see this from a rational, not cute little puppy seal perspective.
right.
It's when you're comparing a seal boots or seal jacket that's going to last you for 40 years, 50 years without degrading in the slightest. They're invasive. You can eat the meat. And then if you want to compare that to a Zara jacket that's created a lot of pollution and created a lot of, borderline slaveries and poorer country.
What kind of jacket did you say?
Like a Zara. And
What's a Zaro?
Zara.
Zara?
Zara.
Do you know what that is?
My accent is
It's
so
just a
weird.
company.
Oh, like a...
Yeah, like a clothing, like H&M.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Okay.
there are better options out there, but it's those companies sell a lot of jackets, so it's sometimes you have much better
Right, I get
ideas
it.
just by doing that.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. The people, well, we have these weird what is this, Jamie? Sealskin boots?
That's the ones I have.
Those look pretty dope. They actually look pretty dope. Minus 60 degrees, that's what they're rated at?
Oh,
Really?
I've been in minus 57 degrees Celsius in those, and I was not feeling the cold in the slightest.
Why are they so good? Like,
I mean,
they
because
make mittens.
they live in freezing cold water, so I'm guessing that the skin and the fur is actually really, really insulating and really made for.
so that would be better, like, even if you were, like, hiking in the mountains than, like, an insulated boot. Wouldn't it?
For sure. If I'm going or when I'm going hunting in Alaska, I'm wearing that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Are they built for hunting? Like, can you, like, side hill in them? Do they have good stability?
I mean, they're pretty good. They have a pretty good gripping type of sole, and the fur is also waterproof.
Have you ever seen, like, what a technical hunting boot looks like?
No.
They make them in, like, a good company's Crispy. Pull up Crispy, CRISPI. That's a good, or Schnees. That's another good one. SHNEES. Schnees makes an excellent hunting boot. And they make these boots, they design them to be, like, lightweight, but they also, like, that's the mid GTX. I have a pair of those. They're really good. But they make them to be lightweight, but they also have the ability to side hill. So they're rigid on the sides. And then they make them in, like, click on that one right there that you had right there.
Oh, very
And then
nice.
they make them in ways where, they have varying levels of insulation. But I wonder if you could wear it like that right there. That's like a serious hunting boot right there.
That's very cool. My friends made fun of me because I was kind of wearing sneakers type of thing to go hunting because I didn't have anything else.
You were in Texas, though?
No, I was in Alabama.
Alabama?
Yeah.
Was it warm?
No, it was 30 degrees. It was freezing.
Oh, really? What did you hunt in Alabama?
I went for whitetail, and
Yeah.
then we did a quail hunt on horses.
So when did you start hunting? Because you're all about, your whole message is like sustainability, right?
Yes.
And this is the knock on fishing, is that people have an idea that fishing is not sustainable. And Jordan Peterson actually talked about this yesterday, and he said what they've figured out is that if you take large blocks of the ocean and make them off limits to fishing, because all the fish live within 40 miles of the shore. Most of the fish do. He said if you take large blocks of these areas and designate them as off limits to fishing, then the fish grow and thrive in those areas, and then they venture out into other areas, and it's like it helps. It's a win-win.
Well, actually, that study was retracted in October.
Damn it, Jordan, you fucked up.
Sorry, Jordan. It's so basically it's what they call MPAs, which is marine protected areas.
Right.
And there was the studies who came with a conclusion of the fact that if you increase by something like 4 or 5% the amount of marine protected areas, you would increase the fish stock by 20%. And the story was retracted because the doctor who was in charge of the study, apparently the result was or other study was depending on the result of this one, and there was a bunch of stuff that was just like kind of not okay at all. And like the other guy who co-authored the paper with her was her brother-in-law, so she broke a bunch of rules when it comes to etiquette kind of
The
scientist.
guy who wrote the paper was her brother-in-law?
Yeah, there was like some weird things going on, and so the paper was retracted.
Oh.
A paper being retracted in the scientific industry is pretty intense.
Here it is. Retraction of flawed MPA study implicates larger problems in MPA science. God
So
damn
they
it,
not
Jordan.
only found that out, but they also found it out that basically she had vested interest in governmental policies.
Oh.
So there was a political meddling into all of this. So
right. So she had a bias in what she was trying to
Yes.
achieve from that study.
So this is also a pretty good website. I'm partnered with them, and they're University of Washington, and they talk about a lot of sustainable seafood and things like that.
You partner with them?
Yeah, we just built up a blog basically together to talk about sustainable seafood. You know, like people interested into seafood, which is about 6 people in the world, but you know, we're a great little community.
People are interested in seafood. A lot of people are interested in seafood. So what's the best way to keep ocean fish and ocean wildlife sustainable?
It's such a complex topic. It's very, very complicated because there's a lot of assets to it, right? But it's just the thing that I tell people is tell me what you believe in and I'll tell you what you eat. Because there's not one answer. You know, you can think about protecting the ocean. You can think about carbon footprint. You can think about modern slavery. You can think about...
Modern slavery?
Oh, there's a lot of people who works on boats in different countries that are barely paid.
Really? So
Yes.
if you're buying fish, you might be buying fish that was caught by slaves?
Yes. So there was a big documentary called Fish... Okay. So just to clarify on that point, though, is the Seaspiracy talk about that a lot. But
Okay, you have a French accent, and sometimes
I
when
do,
you talk,
sorry.
it's fine. English is your second language. I only have one. You're better than me. But when you say Seaspiracy, nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about. You meant Seaspiracy. It's a film.
Seaspiracy.
It's a documentary.
yes.
Seaspiracy.
So it was on Netflix, and they kind of portraits a pretty doom and gloom situation of fisheries around the world. And there's about 80% of the seafood being consumed around the world that is still sustainable. There is issues. There's issues in third world countries and remote places. The United States is the best country in the world when it comes to sustainable seafood.
Really?
It's about 99% of the seafood being consumed that's coming from the U.S. that is sustainable.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
So when you say sustainable, how do they do that? Are they doing that with offshore farms? Because I know they have some of those, because I was in Hawaii and we were, shout out to my friends at Strike Zone, there was, we were on a boat and we were catching these yellowfin tuna, and this guy was telling me, that one of the gentlemen that I was fishing with, that these fish are not even native to that area, that they were a part of like a farm. They have this enormous, like, kind of roped off area where they had left, like, I don't know how they do it. They have like a large net or something like that.
Yeah.
Enormous area. And they would feed these fish, and they were using them for sushi. And they were, capturing them. So they live in the ocean. They would feed them little fish and shit like that and plump them up. And then a storm came and fucked up their net. And then they got out into the ocean, and we were catching them. And apparently there was one area where you could catch a lot of them, and that's where we caught them. And I was like, this is really interesting, because could they do this all the time? Like, is this a way to, like, reintroduce fish into the ocean? And, because they behaved like wild fish. It's not like any other animal that you raise in captivity and they become domesticated. Fish just have that little robotic go, eat, kill, like, switch in their brain. You don't have to teach them how to do it.
I mean, farming is it's a pretty touchy subject, because there's good farming, there's bad farming,
Right,
same thing.
like things with animals, same thing, right?
When you think about fish farming, it's the same thing as cattle. It's just basically the exact same thing. So there's good way to raise it, and there's bad way to raise
Right.
it. And I think it's just about finding that species. Tuna's a bit tough because they're pelagic, so it means that they're migratory fish.
Yeah, migratory.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it's, what they often do, especially with bluefin tuna, like tuna that have very high value, is they're going to catch it in the wild, they're going to put it in pans and just fat them up, making sure like they're nice and chubby, and then they can sell it to.
How do they catch them? In a net?
Yeah, normally Persane is probably one of the, it accounts for a lot of, I think over 65% of the tuna catch around the world. It's a great way to catch tuna because it's basically you throw a net around a school of tuna. So there's very little bycatch because you just grab that school and then that's it.
Okay, so you don't have to worry about dolphins. or
Yeah,
anything
so the
you
problem
accidentally-
becomes when you use what you call a FAD. So a FAD is the fishing grading device. And what it does, it creates like a little habitat. Normally it's like some stuff hanging and then you have the small fish, then the medium fish, and the big fish, and the predators around. So what a lot of people do is they put those FADs in the middle of nowhere, it creates an ecosystem, throw in gigantic net around it, pick up everything. That's when the bycatch gets terrible. But per seine, when you're catching a school without FADs, the bycatch is very, very low.
So bycatch is what they call like collateral damage. So it's a bunch of
Yes.
fish that you don't want. What do they do with the fish that they don't want? Like, what if they do that and they throw a net and they get like manta rays or something that they're not looking for?
It's they throw them overboard. Most of the time, they're dead.
Oh.
A lot of people try to say like, why don't we just keep the bycatch when it comes to fish? Obviously, like nobody wants to eat dolphin apart. Other parts of the world,
What parts of the world eat dolphin?
Japan, I think.
Do they eat dolphin?
I think so.
I know they kill them. That Cove documentary is
Yes.
horrible.
So you can buy it at the store.
Really?
Yes.
I want to see dolphin meat on a shelf. Let me see that. That's like, to me, that's like people meat.
It's pretty intense. They're very, very smart.
Isn't it? That's a thing. Isn't it funny how we categorize animals in terms of their intelligence? Like what you're
bad.
willing to kill. Like elk are very highly tuned into their environment. Like they smell you, they'll run. You know, they see a mountain lion, they run. If there's anything going on, they run. But they're not smart. Like if they're horny, like, and you have camo on, you could be standing with your back to a tree, and you catch them on the right day. And if you got a guy who has a cow call, it's like meh, meh. They'll look right at you, like, for real? Where is she? Where the fuck is she? Like, they don't. If you stand totally still, you know, they recognize. They're not an animal that sees things like we see things. They have like edge detection. So they recognize movement. So what they recognize is anything that might be a threat, anything movement. So when you have camo, like I'm wearing a Sitka shirt. So if like Sitka camo, it's like very broken up. It's excellent camo. So if you're standing dead still, that elk or a deer sees you. It's just like blocks of like images. They don't know what the fuck you are.
Are they colorblind too?
I think so. I think they are.
Deer is definitely colorblind.
Yeah, I think elk are colorblind too. But my God, their sense of smell is insanity. It'd be like 150 yards away. They're like, see ya. They
That's
just fucking
crazy.
take off.
What
What's up?
level of picture do you want to see? Because
Interesting.
it gets kind of dark in here.
Okay, let's see the most sanitized version
Okay.
of dolphin meat.
All right, that's what I
Let's
thought.
see the most sanitized.
Okay.
See what it looks like.
Maybe zoom in so I can. There you go.
Oh, Jesus. They have dolphin sashimi.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
that's mahi-mahi, buddy.
Well, it says
That's dolphin
sashimi.
fish.
Oh yeah, dolphin. Yeah, dolphin in
Yeah.
Florida is mahi mahi.
Yeah, they call it dolphin fish, and
Okay.
that is mahi-mahi.
Well, I
Thank
will
God.
zoom.
Now I feel okay. I was nervous. I was like, I'm going to eat looking at a person's leg.
Well.
Okay, now that stuff on the left, that's dolphin.
Yeah.
That's different. Okay, Jesus Christ.
Oh.
So that's dolphin.
And
Meat
then-
Trade Dolphin Project. So
Okay.
click on that. International Killing of Whales and Dolphins. Below that, right there. God damn. So that's so
So
obviously.
red.
Look how bloody it is. Yeah, well, it's a red meat. It's dolphin is a mammal. You know, I mean, that's what we have to recognize. When you look at them, you're not looking at a fish. You're looking at a mammal that, for whatever fucking weird reason, decided to live in the ocean. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Isn't it weird, though? Like, all of our instincts are, like, to pull away from that.
There's
Like,
even some package
Well,
stuff
it's
too.
like funny enough. I've killed deers and a bunch of fish, and the only thing that I ever killed that felt very, very wrong to me, that I felt like really bad inside, was an octopus.
'cause they're smart.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just a weird feeling after it, and
Really?
I was just like, "Ugh, I don't want to do that again. I don't feel comfortable.
Really?
It was very odd. I have no other explanation than emotions. There's no rational behind it. You can find octopus in most restaurants, but
Right. Yeah, so octopus sushi is super common.
Yeah.
I had octopus last night, actually. No, I didn't. No, that's not true. I had octopus 2 nights ago. I don't want to lie. But, yeah, if I saw them in the wild, I probably would not want to kill them. But if it's convenient, I'll order them. Like veal.
Yeah.
I don't want to kill a baby cow.
Yeah.
But if somebody serves me veal, I guess I'll eat it. It's like, it's a weird thing. It's like, why is it okay to kill the cow when it's, you know,
A baby?
8 years old, and not okay to kill the cow when it's 1 year old? Like, it's weird. Like, I get it. I don't. I get it. They're cute. I get it. Cute things are awesome. I like cute things. You know, like if you saw a lamb, you'd never buy a lamb if you saw what lamb is.
For sure.
Like I was with some friends last night and they ordered lamb. Like apparently lamb is easier for some folks to digest. Jordan's wife and his daughter, and they all eat lamb. But lamb's a baby sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever seen a blanket octopus?
Whoa.
Watch this.
Oh, that's so cute.
Watch what happens.
What is that? Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh my
cape.
God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
What?
It's fucking cool. I saw it online the other day.
That's real?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
They're
looks
real
like,
rare.
When
Really?
they've done like
Yeah.
superhuman and
Can you play that again?
thingy,
It's
they
in the
just like put it back
Philippines.
in.
Look at that thing.
So cool.
Wow. For folks just listening, this thing it's white and it has like little tiny tentacles. Looks like an octopus, but like little short tentacles. And then it spreads this thing out behind it, and it's like a magic carpet. It's almost like Superman. Like,
It's like a cape.
like that's wild.
Yeah.
And the thing is all colored like a fish too. Like you look at the sides of it, it almost looks like a fish. Like it's camouflage. God, look at
one.
that.
So beautiful.
That's amazing. That's one of the coolest things I've ever seen in the ocean. I can't imagine that's real. Wow.
Must be really deep too.
Thank you, Jamie. I did not know about that.
I did not know
There's
either.
so much cool shit in the ocean. Like whenever they do these like deep dives in the ocean and they find creatures that they never discovered before, it just makes you wonder, like, what is down there? What the fuck is down there? Have you ever seen a telescope fish? Oh my
I don't
God.
think so.
Telescope fish is amazing. It doesn't look real. And it swallows things bigger than it. So its mouth is like unhinged, like, rah!
Oh yeah, that weird thing with like
Yeah.
other mouths inside of it.
No.
No?
It was
Oh.
on my Instagram. I had it on my Instagram a while back because the first time I saw it, I was like, how the fuck is that real? Is that it?
I don't know, man.
No, that's not it.
Is that even real?
Fish with a
What the fuck
transparent
is
head.
that?
Yeah, it's got a transparent head.
That's crazy.
You can see into its brain. Okay.
It
Look
looks
at
like
that.
some CGI shit, but
That
no, it
looks
just
totally
looks way
fake.
too real.
That looks totally fake.
I think it was a top 9 of
Look at that
somebody
face.
sent me a meme that said when your friends tell you that there's plenty of fish in the sea, and they send like 9 the ugliest fish in the ocean, and it says that's the fish in the sea.
That's funny. See if you can find a telescope fish. That's it. That little sucker. So that little sucker, his mouth, it opens up bigger than his whole body.
That
Like
looks
the
pretty
opening,
weird.
and then it can swallow things bigger than its body. Like if you saw that in a movie, you'd be like, "Get the fuck out of here! That's not real." Like if you saw that in Avatar and it was swimming around and it was like 8 feet long and it was swallowing things that are 10 feet long, you'd be like, "What the fuck?" It doesn't look real. But that's the ocean. The ocean's amazing. Like if the ocean existed on another planet, we would be so much more excited about it.
For sure.
Isn't that weird?
But again, it's those species that have been evolving for way longer
Yeah.
than we had.
But they are alien. They're alien to terrestrial life. Like if you saw them on another planet, we would be fascinated. But they exist, and you could watch them on YouTube, and barely anybody gives a shit. Like how many videos were that? The octopus with the cape. How many views did it have?
I mean, like I said, I just heard of it, and you'd never heard of it. So.
Right. Let's see how many views it has, though.
Blank.
Maybe we're just idiots. Maybe the rest of the world's well aware, and it's got 45 million views.
The little tiny one had 31,000 views,
That ain't shit.
That's nothing.
and the one I showed, the other one had maybe 300,000.
Mr. Beast gets that within the first 3 seconds of his uploads. Yeah. That's crazy. It's like that should be millions and millions. But if you go to like, some fucking TikTok house party video That's like 100 million views. We should be much more fascinated by it, but we're not for whatever reason. It's not something that's compelling to people where they reach out and try to look at as much underwater life as possible.
I mean, especially at those depths when it's getting like really dark, that's where the real creepy stuff really live.
I think that's like 500 plus meters. What depth does that little sucker live in? I think it's something crazy.
Yeah, I think my diving capability don't go below really like 100 feet.
Well, you don't scuba for the most part,
No,
right?
I free dive.
You free dive,
Yeah.
so you just hold your breath.
Yeah.
How long can you hold your breath for?
5 minutes 45.
Whoa.
But it's not, I don't train for free diving, pure free diving. I like to get in the water and like to grab dinner and then enjoy
out
the
of
view.
Right.
Free diving is a very special sport.
Yeah.
It's like you go down a line and you go down as steep as you can and you hold your breath. You have to stay calm and composed and in your head and you have to be mentally super strong and it's interesting. You can get into it, but I guess I have too much of a attention deficit to do that. I'm like, ooh, fish.
Well, you're in it for a different thing. You're in it to enjoy the life of being underwater. When you're down there, do you think like I escaped? Do you ever think like you escaped? Like, because you could have been in that corporate world. You could have been like right now. How old are you now?
34.
You don't want to tell people?
Yeah.
34. Right now, you could have been like working towards, like moving up in the company, and you'd have to go on those stupid dinners and deal with all the company politics, and instead you're in the ocean.
Yes. It's actually the only time and place where I couldn't care less about my phone, about anything. I mean, the president could be calling me. I'll be like, sorry, I'm busy, I'm fishing.
Yeah.
So that's what I like. There's no other place that I can actually feel this free about everything else.
Is there a concern that you eat so much fish that you could get mercury poisoning?
Not really, because mercury poisoning is really more into bigger species. So
Yeah.
swordfish, by example, shark, some very, very big tuna. So I don't really eat enough of those fish that would become a problem.
Okay, say does.
Do what?
Does fish. Does
Just
fish.
Those bigger fish.
Those bigger fish.
Yeah, like swordfish.
Right.
I have a friend who got mercury poisoning
Really?
from eating too much swordfish.
Oh, so did they kill a swordfish and just eat the whole thing and get sick?
No, he was a guy. He was a chartering guide. So, he just had a lot of
So
fish
he's
all
eating
the
it a lot.
time. And it fucks you up pretty badly. Like, you can start crying for no reason. And you just don't know
shit.
why. And it just makes you it's pretty odd.
Yeah, I'd heard about a guy who was I heard about it on my friend Steve Rinella's podcast, where the guy was a professional fisherman. Like, he would go in the lakes and he would compete in tournaments, and he would eat a lot of fish. And those apparently are the ones that have the most heavy metal toxins, is a lot of freshwater fish.
Freshwater fish.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with that type. I very rarely fish in freshwater.
Well, I had arsenic levels in my blood that were detected at one point in time. And I went to this doctor, and, I get blood work done regularly. So I get this blood work done. The doctor goes, this is concerning. He goes, you have arsenic levels in your blood. And I go, Well, I was like, oh, shit, is my wife trying to poison me? What's going on?
I don't know, that's the first thing that popped into my head.
This bitch is trying to slowly poison me. No, and then he said, it's very low levels, though. He goes, do you eat a lot of seafood? I go, I eat a lot of anchovies. He goes, how often? Or not anchovies, excuse me, sardines.
Okay.
He goes, how often? I go, every day. He goes, how much do you eat? I go, 3-4 cans. He goes, stop doing that.
That's a lot.
He goes, stop doing that, and then come back in a few months. I'm an obsessive, and one of the things that I'll do is I'll buy like 2 cases of sardines. And so, like, if I like a sardine company, I'm like, these are good. So I'll just buy like 2 fucking cases, and then I'll come home from like a comedy club at like midnight, and I don't feel like cooking, but I want to like watch a little YouTube or sit in front of the TV. So I'll eat like 3 or 4 cans of sardines, and I was doing it all the fucking time. And so I was developing an arsenic problem, but it cleared up very quickly. I stopped doing it. I stopped eating them, and then I came back to him in 3 months, and he's like, "There's none. It's all gone." So it was all good.
That's crazy, though.
Yeah. Well, it lets you know. You know. those little fuckers, they have to swim around in our bullshit.
That's true.
It's what it is. It's our bullshit. It's our toxins and whatever we're dumping into the ocean.
I mean,
I'll give you a little fucking thing you might not know. Do you know how the Somalis, Somalis are known for being pirates, right? Do you know why?
I think it's because we took pretty much all of their fish close to shore, and now they got pissed off and they decided to become pirates and kill us all, or actually steal our money.
Worse than that. Europeans and other countries started dumping their toxic waste off the shore of Somalia.
Yikes.
And they killed all the fish. And so these Somali fishermen, they call themselves, I think they call themselves the people's something. God damn it, I forget what they called themselves initially. It was like a militia idea. Like they were going to go and stop these people who were destroying their livelihood.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very poor country.
Yeah.
So they started kidnapping these people that were the captains of these boats that were dumping this toxic waste, and they would demand a ransom. And then once they did that, they go, you know what? Fuck fishing. They just started kidnapping people.
Way more money into this business.
And then on top of that, they were doing a drug called cat. It's a narcotic, like a natural narcotic. And this cat is like a leaf that you chew, and it makes your teeth rot out of your head. Like it's fucking disgusting. Like they get black teeth. See if you can find KHAT, cat teeth. It's because it's like they're chewing this funky leaf, and it gives them. It's like a meth face thing they get. You ever see like faces of meth where people like they lose their teeth and their teeth get all cracked out?
Kind of.
Yeah, I mean it might be just like they're not brushing, but I think there's a lot more to it. But this cat stuff they chew. And it makes their teeth like fucking black and nasty. So they're cranked out of their mind. And then they got these nasty teeth. Look
Ew.
at that. That's what it looks like when they chew that stuff.
Oh, that's
Fucking wild, right? Yeah. KHAT, chewing and dental staining. Yeah. It's weird.
That's pretty bad.
So these guys would get cranked up on this cat stuff. And then they didn't give a fuck. And then they would go after these boats. What is the effect? It is like a stimulant, right, Jamie? Does it say?
Yeah, I believe.
The effect of cat, KHAT?
Let me just take that off of there. Yeah, I think it is. I don't know about full meth, but probably a lot like Coke or something.
Cat and alcohol.
There's a big
and
difference
drug
between Coke and
Foundation.
meth.
Yeah, big difference, right? Well, Coke is what you do when you have money,
That's a good point.
right? Meth is what you do when you're in a truck stop.
Alkaloid stimulant.
Yeah, so it's an
Excitement,
alkaloid
yeah.
cathinone, a stimulant which is said to cause excitement, loss of appetite, and euphoria. It's meth. It's like a methy thing. So these guys would get whacked out on this stuff, and then they'd go and fucking kidnap boats. Look at me. Look at me. I'm the captain now. That's what that is. I mean, that's why that dude was so skinny. I mean, obviously, probably didn't have a lot to eat either, but also probably whacked out on that cat stuff.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting. So that's what happened. Those fucking assholes from other countries came and dumped all their toxic waste. You know, if they don't know what to do with their toxic waste, like, what are we going to do? I'll just dump it over here. So they were dumping it off the shore where these guys would fish, just destroyed the habitat of the fishing. What do they call themselves? Like the People's Navy of Somalia or something?
So I was digging through an article about it, and I didn't find that first.
It's interesting because, you know, by other people being assholes, they force these, you know, pleasant, kind fishermen into becoming pirates.
And nobody probably talks about it. They don't want to take responsibility.
Yeah, probably not. Also, it's like they don't have a voice, you know? All everybody knows is Somalis are pirates. Like you hear Somali Pirates, you go, I've heard that before.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
if you hear like Somalis got fucked over, they used to be fishermen and people were dumping toxic waste overseas and it forced them into becoming pirates, you're like, that makes more sense. Like
Yeah.
how else would they just become pirates? Like why would they, like, you know, what's that? Why are they becoming pirates?
I mean, there's a bunch of pirates also off the coast of Brazil.
Oh, really?
So my dad retired and he bought a sailboat and he ran across the Atlantic
Whoa.
for like 3 years. And he had a couple of friends who went somewhere that they were not really supposed to go, and they got kind of the boat got taken over by pirates. They got like duct taped and everything, and they stole everything they had on the boat.
Whoa.
With guns and everything, like an older couple in their 60s.
Holy shit. How'd
pretty
they get
scary
out?
story.
What happened? How'd they survive?
I guess they just stole everything and they
Left
just
them there?
left.
They left them duct taped?
But it's storied about ransoms, about asking the family for money and different things like that. It's yeah, the ocean can be a pretty scary place if you don't know where to go.
Well, it's kind of lawless. There's a thing about the ocean. It's like when you're out in the middle of nowhere and then you see a boat. Like if you're on a boat in the middle of nowhere and then you see another boat in the middle of nowhere, you're like, oh, fuck. Right? It's like the woods. Like things are scary in the woods. Like if you see a man at the mall, that's not scary. But if you're like 14, 15 miles into the woods and you see a man and he looks at you in the eye, you're like, oh, Jesus, is this guy going to eat me? Like, what the fuck? You know, like it's when people are separated from everything, we think of the worst possible thing that they could do to us, whether it's in the ocean or in the, like even a baby in the woods. If you saw a baby in the woods looking at you, you'd be like, ha, it's a fucking baby. You let her run away. Like everything's scary in the woods.
That's true, because I actually did from Brazil all the way to the top of the Caribbean with my dad on a sailboat.
Really?
And it was my dad, one of his friends, and me.
Do you guys have a gun?
So my dad didn't answer me when I asked that question.
Oh, so he had a gun.
Guess that was the answer was yes.
Yeah, he had a gun.
But he was and we left. We were like 400 miles away offshore.
400?
Yeah. So I had to work 2 hours shift every 4 hours for about 3 weeks.
Whoa.
And
what do you have to do?
So because especially even if you're far away, you know, they have small fishing boats that don't show on the radar. So you kind of have to be in lookout and look every 5 minutes on both sides of the boat to see if you see lights to make sure you don't kill somebody in the middle of the night.
Have you seen the video that just got out recently of these guys that are fishing on this boat? They're just sitting there with their rods fishing, and this boat is coming straight towards them, and they wave, and then they realize, oh my God, this boat's not going to stop, and they jump out of the water and into the water. Did you see that?
I did see that, and
I
would like to say that this is an isolated incident, but
it's not.
What scares me the most in the water, it's boats.
Oh yeah.
It's not sharks. It's not anything. It's boats, because actually it happened to me once. I was with friends, and the boat was literally on top of us.
Here it is.
And we
this
dove
is it.
down.
This is it.
Okay, it's a couple years old, just so you know. But oh shit!
Boom!
Crazy.
Watch this. Fuck! How bad did the boat get fucked
Yeah, I
up?
didn't mean to hit that. I'm sorry.
Jesus.
That's what you call a Sunday boat driver in Florida.
Well, oh my God, it just mangled their boat. Wow, that's crazy.
That's so insane. Well, my friend got both of his fin chopped up by a prop. He saw the boat coming and he dove down straight away, and the prop chopped both of his fin off.
The fins of his swimming fins?
Yeah, both fins chopped
So it could have been
off.
his legs.
It could have been a disaster.
Could have been his head.
Could have been anything. And the funny thing is, he dove down because I was showing something in the bottom.
Well, I've been on the lake before on a boat, and I've seen a lot of people drinking. That's a weird one. When people are drinking on the lake, and you're like, I don't know if I want to be on this lake. You know? Did you ever remember that Trump rally?
Oh, that's what you do out there.
It is kind of what you do, but
I know, so you're supposed to be responsible. But
I got a boat that goes fast.
Yeah.
If you're hammered and you want to gun it, you're dead. Everyone's gonna die. Like,
Yeah,
it
but
goes
also
fast.
you're wakeboarding, and then at some point you let go of the rope, and then you fall down the board, and then
you
you're
have to
middle
look
of the
out
lake.
for other people. Yeah, because other people. Yeah, that's dangerous.
I have drunk Steven or his 4 girlfriends coming full speed at you. He's not going to see you.
There's accidents like that all the time. That's sketchy.
Must be.
I don't do that shit though. You know what I like more than anything is jet skiing. Oh my God, it's so much fun. They're so fast. The jet skis they have now, they're so fast. I bought this house and it had jet skis, like it came with jet skis, and we bought that jet skis from the people. And then my wife wanted to get better ones, so we got these. I'm like, why wouldn't these are fine? Then she got these new jet skis, and they're fucking preposterous. The jet skis they make today are so goddamn fast. They're like 0 to 60 in a couple of seconds, like a car.
That's crazy.
Like whoosh.
They make those super cool new like fishing ones too.
Yeah, but the good thing
So
about
you have
jet
like a
ski,
live bait box
Oh,
and
really?
like a
And a jet ski?
cooler and yeah, like they all set up so that you can just go out at sea and just go fish off that.
I haven't seen
pretty
that.
cool.
So it's like an attachment that you put on the end of your jet ski?
I think so. I think that they made like the fishing jet ski.
The thing about the jet ski is like they're so maneuverable. It's so much more maneuverable than a boat. Like boats are awkward. Like you go vroom, backing up and moving. It's like you're subject to the waves. With a jet ski, you're just doing whatever you want to do. You want to take a left, you take a left. It's like a motorcycle that's on the water. So if you fall, it's like no big deal. But you're going like, I guess it's not really motorcycle speeds, but they're pretty preposterous. Oh my God, that's wild.
Pretty cool,
So
eh?
it's a fishing jet ski, intentionally versatile, ready for any adventure. So it's got a fishing seat. That's crazy. That's smart.
And room for a cooler in the back and
That
everything.
is actually very smart. That's very smart. Fish Pro Sport. Let me say, scroll back up again. So there's different models. Wonder what's different about them. Let me see them.
Oh, that's like an extra seat on the back compared to even.
Yeah, it's got a fishing seat.
Compared to these.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so it's like a boat, like a bass boat.
Yeah, it's probably just.
Oh, so it pops up there. Yeah. Go back up to that photo rather, sorry. Yeah, so that's pretty dope. That is ideal. Because then you could just, and then look, it's got a little cooler in the back. So you could just pull up to a little area and start casting and
Just
then
go fishing.
zip off. Oh, that's great. That's amazing. I like it.
Right.
Sea-Doos, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, they make dope shit. I think mine's a Sea-Doo.
Oh,
I definitely used to have
that.
Sea-Doo. Oh, you fucked up.
She'll
I
fall
think
off.
that's the ad. It's
Yeah.
like saying, you're going to be silly. Jump in the water, you wacky fuck. Yeah, there's a lot of fishing out here in Texas because they grow big bass out here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, huge. Yeah, like big ass fat boys.
I went off the coast mostly. Like
Yeah.
the oil rigs are pretty cool.
Oh, oil rigs are probably cool, right? Because the little fish are attracted to the oil rigs. And
Yeah.
so the big fish come around to look for the little fish. So
Yeah.
structure.
There's like one of the most hardcore spearfishing you can also do, which can also be qualified as a bit dumb. You basically jump off the back of a shrimper. So of course a lot of shrimp like getting loose into the water, and then you have thousands of sharks circling around, and you get in the water, you pass the sharks, and tunas are below getting the scraps
What?
from the shark.
What?
It's pretty cool.
Have you done that?
I've done it once, and I didn't
What?
feel too comfortable doing it.
The fuck, girl? Are you crazy?
You can find some footage of that for sure.
Yeah, find some footage of that. So the shrimp boats are catching the shrimp, and how are the sharks there? Because they smell the shrimp?
So basically, yeah, they're eating the shrimp off the back of the boat. So because like the nets, they always some like falling off the boat,
Oh,
falling off the nets
okay.
and stuff like that. So
So
it's
the sharks are eating the scraps, and then they eat sloppy. So below them, the tunas.
so there's tunas and sharks all together, but normally the tuna stays below the sharks.
Why don't the sharks just kill the tunas? Can they?
I don't know. I
Do
get
sharks eat
too
tunas?
busy.
Or are the tunas too
Shark
fast?
is pretty much anything in the water.
But tunas are way faster than sharks, right? Aren't they?
I'd say so. I'd
So a tuna
probably
has
put
to
my
be
money on
slipping.
tuna. Yeah,
The shark has to catch a tuna slipping,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
But also sharks are, they're. I like to compare it to dogs a lot. It maybe sounds weird, but they're like an easy meal. That's why when they hear spearfishing bands popping in the water, normally they know what's happening, and sometimes they like to come around because they know a free, easy meal is probably going to be around soon.
That's what happens with grizzlies.
Oh, really?
Grizzlies hear gunshots and they run towards the gunshot because they assume the gunshot means an animal, like a deer or an elk. So
Training
sometimes,
them.
and I believe it's Montana, if you shoot we'll find that in a moment here.
These guys.
Let's see. They caught some tunas.
Yeah, they're right. I'll show you the.
No, I'd put like
What's happening here?
spearfishing,
Oh,
shrimp
okay,
boat.
okay, go spear. My bad.
Oh, what were you saying?
This was just these guys were behind a boat.
That's
there.
blackfin also.
Oh, so they're
They're,
fishing
chasing
behind
boat. Yeah, there's
this
a bunch of
shrimp
videos of people
boat.
just following boats.
That's smart.
But you have to reel it really fast because
Right.
once the tuna's hooked, the shark is gonna go for it.
Oh wow, yeah. And then you have a half a tuna.
Yeah, I gotta check the spear. Hold on a second.
I think it's in Wyoming where you have to leave the elk. You have to give it up.
Really?
Yeah, you're not even allowed to chase the grizzly off. I'm pretty sure it's Montana. Or excuse me, not Montana, Wyoming. Let's find that out in a moment.
How do you even chase a grizzly up anyway?
Good luck, bitch.
I'm not trying.
Yeah.
Well,
For
Grizzly,
sure. Have you seen that
Wyoming.
crazy documentary about that guy who was
Grizzly man.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he
that's
ended
one
up
of my
being
favorite-
eaten with his
yes.
girlfriend.
One of my favorite documentaries ever.
crazy.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
it.
it's an unintentional comedy. I think it's an on-purpose comedy. I think Werner Herzog is brilliant, and I think that's different than any of his other movies, where it's so funny that I gotta think that he made it funny on purpose.
That it has to be.
It has to be. Wyoming rules when it comes to a downed animal claimed by a grizzly. Fish and game rules, because I believe. I believe the idea is they're trying to discourage grizzly encounters with people. Like they don't want people to try to chase off a grizzly and get killed. So I think,
Probably smart.
yeah, I think they just have decided. Listen, you shoot at an elk and a grizzly claims it. That's not your elk anymore. I don't know if that means you get to shoot another one, which would be pretty cool, or if it
good
means
point.
that's a wrap.
Like is
That's a wrap
your
for
tag
hunting
forfeit
season.
by then or not?
Exactly, because of like if you have a big hunting trip and you shoot an elk and like say you're out there for a week and a half, you're in the backcountry and maybe this is like something you've been planning for years, you budgeted, you put in for a tag, you spent all your money on this. This is a big deal. And you're looking to have like a freezer full of meat for the winter. Boom, you drop this elk from 300 yards. And then by the time you get over there, you see a fucking grizzly coming down the hill towards your elk. You're like, no, you son of a bitch. Because that's what happens. They hear a gunshot, and in some areas where they're habituated to the sound of gunshots equaling gut piles in particular.
You're talking about gun because I'm like 300 yards. Like, what's your poundage in your bow?
No, I'm talking a gun. Boom.
Okay.
Guns, yeah. No,
By the way,
300
your friend,
yards.
so Tyler set me up with my bow this week.
Tyler from Archer Country?
Yeah.
Archery Country's the shit.
So I'm a little
If
tiny
you're
little
in
35
Austin,
now.
Texas,
I'm like,
35 pounds? Well, if you're in Austin, Texas, and you're looking for archery equipment, you want to get set up, they're a fucking amazing shop, Archery Country. That's where I get all my shit done. It's so nice having like a real bow shop in town because there wasn't one in California.
he knows everything.
Yeah, he's
It's
the
crazy.
shit.
He got me
Tyler's
set up.
awesome.
I have this big trip coming up. I'm supposed to go to Alaska, I think,
Oh.
next October.
What are you doing in Alaska?
I'm supposed to go bow hunting with Donnie Vincent.
Oh.
Actually.
Didn't you go somewhere other hunting with him?
No, so basically that's going to be that trip.
Oh,
COVID
so it
kind of
hasn't
pushed
ha-
everything
Oh,
up,
I
and
see, I see.
I mean, my chances of shooting an elk with my bow,
When
not
is
that
this supposed
great.
to happen? When is this supposed to happen?
October.
October.
Yeah.
Okay. You have time. Okay, so here we are.
Yeah. What do I do?
Well, first of all, let me see your guns. Pull the guns up. Okay, we're gonna have to work on that because 35 pounds is not enough. It's just not enough. I mean, Ted Nugent and Shemaine Nugent would probably argue with me. She showed me a zebra she shot with a 35-pound bow.
Well,
I'm
I
like,
could pull out
okay.
about 45. That's like my.
For now, we got to get you on
for now.
steroids. We're gonna get you on steroids.
So
And,
no hot yoga anymore, but steroids instead.
Yeah, steroids and weights. And you're going to wrestle Gordon Ryan every day. We need to get you strong. Like, it's a pulling motion. We need to get your...
Yeah.
And then it's also a stability motion for the front arm. So you need, like, shoulder... You know what's really good? Have you ever done, like, club bells? You ever done those? You know what those are?
I don't even know what those are.
It's like it looks like a bowling pin almost, but it's made out of iron. And we sell them at On It. They're awesome. And what it is a really good exercise for shoulder stability and strength. And what you do is like, I do a bunch of exercise with them, but one of them that I really like for archery is called shield casting. So I'll be, okay, it's like this, perfect. So if this was, I actually have some out here. I'll show them. So if this was this iron thing, you go around the shoulder like that and then put it in front of you, and around like that and put it in front of you. So the whole idea is like you're strengthening all these muscles in your shoulder, and then you're also strengthening your ability to hold it out this. And there's a bunch of other exercises I do with them, a bunch of different kinds of exercises I do them. So there you go. You see him there. There's that's my boy John Wolf right there, the one with the arms sticking straight out. That's my buddy. He's actually a guy.
Kind of mix between a bowling pin and a baseball bat.
Yes, very similar. And John is he's just an awesome trainer all around, and he's the head trainer over at Onnit, and he has a bunch of different workout programs that he's devised. Onnit has a thing called Onnit 6. It's all these different workouts, bodyweight workouts, kettlebell workouts, all kinds of stuff that you can do at home that they devised during COVID to help people. So, if they couldn't get to a gym, you could just buy a couple of pieces of equipment like a steel club, and they'll set you through all of these different exercises and workouts. But clubs are really good for bows. I really like it. And so does my friend John Dudley. We'll have to get him to help you. That would be great.
Yeah,
for both
I
of you
travel
guys.
so much. It's so hard to get consistency when it comes to training because you want to always train in the same place.
Can you make it out to Iowa?
So
Can you make it to Iowa?
I could go anywhere.
Okay, I'll set you
from
up.
my laptop.
John Dudley is like legitimately the best archery coach in the world.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, he's one of my best friends. We'll send you out to him.
Yeah, that'd be great.
He'll coach you. He'll show you how to do it. He does it all the time. Like, this is literally what he does. And he's he's also one of the guys at he's like a top pro at PSE, which is a bow company. So they'll set you up. That's the bow I use. But
Awesome.
what kind of bow do you have?
I got a Hoyt Eclipse.
Hoyt. Those are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hoyt's awesome. They're all awesome. Like when you get to like Matthews, Hoyt, PSC, there's a Bear makes awesome bows. There's a level of bow when you get to a certain level. They're all really good.
I just want to be able to draw it and work on my form and try to just become better at it. That's
You got to get stronger though.
I do.
You got to pump those guns up. I know you were doing jiu-jitsu because I saw on your Instagram when George came to town, and that was fun, right? Like we all went out and had cheeseburgers. It was really fun.
It was very fun.
And I was like, oh, these Canadians can all talk to each other in their foreign tongue now. And you and George can speak
We speak very differently, though.
Yes, you guys speak French. But then I saw that you went and trained with Gordon and Gordon's girlfriend, and you were at the gym. How was that?
It was really good. So I've started So I do MMA stuff on Tuesday and then grappling on Thursday.
Wow.
It really came up from the fact that, I'm a girl, I'm traveling by myself, so I just really wanted to have kind of a base of when it comes to self-defense type of stuff. So it's funny story, I got knocked out by a 14-year-old during my class, but we can talk about it.
A 14-year-old girl knocked you out?
Yeah.
Whoa. How cold?
I fell on the floor. I was standing up and I fell.
What'd she hit you with?
So she had gloves on. The thing is, it was like her first or second class or something, and I had headgear on, and she didn't. So I was only allowed to hit her in the body, and my coach kept telling her just use maybe 10-50% of your strength, and she keeps hitting me as hard as she could in the face, and I was like, take it easy, we're here to have fun. And then I was not looking. It just hit me in the side and the temple as hard as she could. And I fell on the ground. And my coach looked at me and he was like, please don't do this. Please just smile and get up. I looked at him and was like,
please
fine.
don't do this, meaning don't
he
be
knew.
out cold.
He saw he saw my face. He was like, just be nice.
Were you angry?
I was very angry.
Did you talk to the 14-year-old? Did she apologize?
She didn't.
She didn't apologize?
No, she just felt a little bit, she kind of did, but she was like, sorry, but then we kept sparring, and she just kept, hitting as hard as
after she dropped you kept sparring?
A little bit. I took it easy after. The coach was told her, look, go very freaking easy from now on. And it was...
You're not supposed to spar after you get hit like that. What kind of coach do you have?
He's nice. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, and that's nice. Listen, when you get hit in the head and you fall down and you're like almost out cold, you might have a concussion. That should
she
be
just
the
did
end of the
foot
training
kicks
session.
and stuff after, so it wasn't that bad.
Oh,
it was
not
to my head, not to my head.
Yeah, but still, it's
my head was off limit after.
You don't know what's going. You're still sparring though. You don't know what's going on after you get hit in the head like that. I've seen it so many times where guys get dropped and then they want to go back and spar. and you got to go, hey, this is over. Like, you can't do this anymore. And most of the time, it's an accident. Most of the time, it's like, sometimes, like, a guy will do something, like, you're trying to touch people. You're not trying to hit them hard.
Yeah.
But sometimes a guy will, like, rush forward right when you're doing something, and you just collide, and you get hit. It happens. Even like, there's a video that I just saw the other day of Donald Cerrone accidentally knocking this guy out. Clearly accidentally. He did not hit him full blast. He just set up a punch and he threw a kick, and the kid turned towards the kick and whack.
Well, I think also when you're starting, I think it's, a bit of instinctual to just try to hit as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Not like it's, just want to not prove yourself a little bit, but
the solution to that, though, is to do drills first. Like my friend Dwayne Ludwig, he teaches at Bang Muay Thai, which is like, Dwayne is, he was a world-class kickboxer, awesome MMA fighter. He held the record at one point in time for the fastest knockout in the UFC. But what he really excels at, maybe even more than fighting, which he was really awesome at fighting, but he's a fantastic coach. And one of the things he's done is he's broken down his system. All of his martial arts techniques, he's got, like, written in books. He's got it down to, like, I've never seen anybody more thorough. And he's in Arvada, Colorado, I believe, outside of Denver. And what Dwayne does is, before, you don't just start sparring with Dwayne. With Dwayne, everybody is working on combinations. Like, you would throw, like, 1-2 left hook to the body, right low kick, and then my job would be to block, step, check, and then we would do it again. And you would do it back and forth. So you would get accustomed to the idea of hitting each other, and then he would make it really clear that you guys are working together. You're not trying to hurt each other. You're just touching each other. So you get used to touching each other. Just touching and sparring. Just tap in these drills. And then you move to sparring. So you have the same sort of mentality of just touching each other, and then that's how you get good. That's how you get good. And then when it comes to hitting hard, you hit the pads or you hit a heavy bag. That's when you. But it's, look, when I was coming up, everybody hit everybody hard. No one exercised any restraint. When we sparred, there were wars. It was terrifying. It was so bad. So that was the early days of MMA too. If you go back to, like, the early days of the UFC, all those fighters would have gym wars, and sometimes they would ruin their careers in the gym because they would get knocked out so often. Everyone would get knocked out all the time.
But I think that's what's really, really cool about, like, this sport, that is even, like, anything that's MMA related or jiu-jitsu. It's, for me, it really, I got into it thinking it was just about defending myself and just hitting something and getting some pressure release and stuff like that. And it's not that at all. It's very cool. Especially from jiu-jitsu, I really enjoy the whole mental aspect of it, of trying to find what your next move is going to be and that type of stuff. So I'll see.
Jiu-jitsu is very intellectually challenging.
It is. 100%.
There are so many, like, I have a whole thing on my phone that I have saved up of all these different moves that I've seen guys do that I've never seen anybody do before. Like, I have, like, a whole folder of these moves where I'll review them. I'm like, how the fuck is he doing that? And I'll have to watch it like 3-4 times. The way this person's setting up, like, an omoplata to the back control. And then I'm like, okay, is that real? And then I'll send it to like Eddie Bravo, and I'll say, hey, is this legit? And he'll go, that looks pretty legit. And then he'll, like, try it, or he'll go, that's not legit because of this. And it's like, there's so many techniques. It's almost like language. Like, there's so many words you can use. There's so many phrases you can say. And there's so many sort of attacks you can have in jiu-jitsu. It's so different than any other martial art in that regard, because there's, like, an infinite number of possibilities that the human body can kind of engage in these entanglements with.
For sure. And I mean, it was, when I joined that class, it was just like, it was professional training. Mm-hmm. And so it was obviously ridiculously out of my league.
Class?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the top of the food chain.
And she was really, the girl who was training with me was really telling me, like, okay, so how do you get out of this? And she's like, there's, like, thousands of ways, but now we're only going to work about, like, this one or this one. And it's just,
yeah.
It was nice. It was cool to see really, really good people just training together. And
it's very inspiring, right?
It was really nice. And even to see George St. Pierre training, and I was like, it's so nice to see you training in Austin, Texas.
Isn't that funny? Like, you doing a mocking and French accent is hilarious. That is hilarious. He's down here. There you guys are. John Donaher. That guy's the master. That guy in the middle, that might be the
He's
best
so
jiu-jitsu
great.
coach on the planet Earth. He's a fucking genius. You know his whole story?
I do not.
He was a philosophy professor at Columbia.
Really?
It's a PhD in philosophy.
That's crazy.
Got obsessed with jiu-jitsu. Quit everything. Was living at Henzo Gracie's Academy in New York City. Was sleeping on the mats. Like literally would teach all day and take a nap in between classes. You'd see John Donaher in the corner over there taking a nap. Then he'd get up and teach. Teach privates, teach classes. And it's like, without a doubt, if not the most respected, I think he's the most respected jiu-jitsu coach in the world. So having him move to Austin is gigantic for all of us. Like everybody's very, very excited about that.
Oh, so he moved here recently?
Yeah, I talked him into it.
Oh, good.
That's my move. Talk people into moving to Austin.
It was great. It was such a humbling experience just to see those great people
Yes.
just training together. I was trying to
Can you imagine any other
soak in
sport?
as much as I could.
Imagine if you can go to a place and watch Michael Jordan train basketball.
It would be crazy.
Right? Well, that's what George St. Pierre is like. I mean, George St. Pierre is one of the greatest of all time. You would never know that talking to him, though. He's so humble.
He is. He's a really, really nice guy.
He's so nice.
He's very loved in Quebec. He's very, very, very loved
Of course.
in Quebec.
Of course. You know, I was in the UFC in the Rogers Center. I don't even know what they called it, the Rogers Center then. I forget what it was called. But it was 60,000 people.
Bell Center then,
Was it the Bell Center?
probably.
I think he fought Josh Koscheck. I forget who he fought, but it was bananas. When you see 60,000 people, when George walked to the octagon, the roar that they got when they introduced George's name, it was fucking crazy. I mean, like to this day, like I took my earphones off and I looked around. I was like, holy shit. Sometimes I do that. Like I'll take my earphones off, like when someone's getting it, like cheering. Like this weekend I did it for Brandon Moreno, because Brandon Moreno's from Mexico, from Tijuana, and we were in Southern California. So it's like a couple-hour drive, and they all came up to see him. So the weigh-ins on Friday were just filled with Mexican flags. And then Saturday night, Brandon goes out to the octagon, and when he walks into that octagon, the roar was so loud. Like I don't hear it perfect with my headphones on, because the headphones is just to pick up voices. So I hear a little bit of it ambient,
Yeah.
but I don't. So I had to take it off. So I took my headphones off. I was like, holy shit! It was just
I mean, it's,
Yes,
it's
is that George?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Matt
2008. Oh no, that's a different one. That's in Montreal.
I thought you meant Montreal earlier. Sorry.
No, Rogers Center was in Toronto.
But it must be a crazy feeling. Is this something that you get also when you get on stage? Like, you know, I went to see you in Tampa in that gigantic
Arena,
arena, and it
weird.
must be just insane to be cheered on by that many people.
Yeah, I try to black it out. I try to block it out. It's too weird. Yeah. That was the revenge fight. That was when George got his revenge against Matt Serra, because Matt Serra had knocked him out in probably the greatest upset of all time, at that moment at least. Up until Juliana Pena just knocked out Amanda Nunes, or strangled Amanda Nunes, I think that this was the biggest upset of all time, the first fight between them. So this was George getting his revenge in Montreal, and he just took Matt Serra very lightly for the first fight, didn't train hard enough, thought he was just going to kick his ass, and then Matt Serra clipped him and hurt him and wound up stopping him.
So, but this is the thing about UFC that I didn't know. Like, I've never watched UFC in my entire life, and I started kind of watching it a little bit recently. And what I got into was the fact that there's always a weird story behind. There's always like rivalry and like
Sure.
things happening and stories, and
Sure.
it's way more dramatic than I thought
Yeah.
it would be.
Well, there's a lot of drama. You know, like, when guys are beating the shit out of each other, there's a lot of drama. You know?
Now
And
that makes sense.
also, the UFC is really good at like sort of marketing this story behind these fighters, and like what makes it exciting, what their motivation is, and you know. That kind of
It's
shit.
great. I mean, every time I watch it, I cannot stop myself being like, I should train and try this shit.
Really? You want to fight?
I mean,
You
I
better
don't
get
want
to
to
it
get
now.
I don't want to get my is it realistic? Probably not. But it's like I don't know. I don't know why I get this fired up every time I watch it. I'm like, but every time I see something cool and new, I'm like, I want to try this. I want to be as best as I can at it.
Well, one thing you could do for sure is jujitsu. I would recommend you doing that before I would recommend you fighting in MMA.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to mess your face up too.
Yeah, no, probably
You got a
not.
very nice face. I would think what you should do is do a jiu-jitsu tournament. You know, like
I
ramp
would love
yourself.
that.
Yeah, that's what you should do. Like because that's Bourdain did that. Anthony Bourdain.
Did he?
Yeah, he yeah. That guy makes me sad. He fought in a jiu-jitsu tournament when he was like I think he was like 58 or 59.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, he got so into it that he wanted to compete, and he won. Yeah, he competed and won.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and he, I don't even think he started jiu-jitsu until he was like 58. It's like somewhere in that range. So I was like, well, this is crazy. And watching him go from being like this party guy who just drank all the time to being a guy who was like not eating carbs anymore. He got lean and ripped. That's him competing. So crazy.
Isn't that a girl also? Like she became like a black belt recently. She was pretty old.
Yes, her name is Betty. She's on I put her on my Instagram page because it was so crazy to see. I met her at one of the Who's Number One events. Look at Anthony Bourdain. Shut this off. I'm going to get sad. That's his ex-wife. That one makes me sad. That's a rough one. He was such a good guy.
Yeah.
But point is, he got really into jiu-jitsu later in life, and one of the things that he decided he wanted to do is he wanted to work his way up to training and then competing in a tournament. So he was training like basically every day. He would do 2 training sessions a day. He would have a private class for over an hour, and then he would do the group class and spar with people every fucking day. So he got good really quick. He got his blue belt in like a year and a half or so.
Oh,
something
wow.
like that. Yeah. But he was fucking obsessed. Like I remember he sent me a message because he was in some like Eastern Bloc European country, and he trained with this Carlson Gracie school. And Carlson Gracie, their team was always known as like top game pressure, smash passing, like really brutal old school power jiu-jitsu. And he's like, I'm shitting out bone chips, like because he was just getting smushed by these fucking animals. It's like super tough guys that were just crushing him.
I mean, he's a very inspiring person in general, and
Yeah, he was.
every time I'm like, okay, I'm 34.
You got plenty of time.
I know much. Like I've changed my life recently.
There she is. This is this lady Betty.
And I'm like,
So she didn't
Bourdain did
start
this very late.
jiu-jitsu. She didn't start jiu-jitsu until she was 54. 54.
that's so great.
Yeah, 54. And then she just recently achieved her black belt, which is wild. How old is she now? 11 years.
Yeah,
So
she's
she's
65 or
65 years old and she got her black
About
belt.
to
I
be.
mean, think of how many people at 65 are just done with everything. Or even 54. They're just not interested in challenges. They're getting tired. And this lady just had the fortitude and the courage to try something completely brand new. Not just brand new, but very intimate. It's like people are trying to strangle you, and women are grabbing your leg and bringing it over your head. Like, what the fuck? And you're old. And, she probably has kids and shit. And she's like, Jesus Christ, what am I doing with myself? And then 11 years later, she's a black belt.
That's so
amazing.
awesome.
That's amazing.
It's fascinating. I think that it's to keep trying new things and pushing yourself is such a great way to stay alive. It can be anything.
Well, I think it's look, we're all gonna die. There's no way around it. But I think while you're alive, the way to make life interesting is to challenge yourself. And I don't mean
100%.
challenge. You don't have to challenge yourself in some crazy way like you're going to fucking climb Mount Everest in your underwear. You don't have to try to die. But do things that are stimulating and interesting. And for this lady, it was jujitsu. And, you know, for you, it's like you decided at one point in time you didn't want to be a lawyer anymore. You're going to just figure out how to make a living off of spearfishing, which is such a crazy proposition. If you were my daughter, I'd be like, oh, Jesus Christ. I would think all the money I fucking spent for college. This bitch wants to jump in the water and stab fish with a pointy stick. But that's for people, you know, that want to like enrich their lives. Like, how do you want to enrich your life? This is a great way to enrich your life. Go do something new. Do something challenging. And it doesn't have to be physically challenging. It could be learn to play guitar. It could be learn to paint, you know.
Anything.
Do something cool. Take a yoga class. You never taken yoga? Go take a yoga class. But do stuff that you haven't done before. That's like so good for your head. It really is. Like for me, when I started archery and I started bow hunting, it was so good for my head. I remember thinking like, today I shot before I came here. I spent a half an hour just practicing. I practice constantly, consistently. If you don't, you're just not accurate. And when I was shooting, I wasn't thinking about jack shit. When I'm at full draw and I'm just thinking of that target, just whack, and watch that arrow sink right into that bullseye, it's so satisfying. And you're not thinking about anything else. You're just thinking about your form. Is your elbow high enough? Am I pulling with my back muscles? Is my stance correct? Am I torquing my wrist? There's all these little things. But while you're thinking of all those little things, it's like a mental release. Yeah. It's like a moving meditation. It's like you're not thinking about anything else. Like all your troubles go away. You know, and that could be anything. It doesn't have to be archery. It could be, there's a lot of things you could learn. You could be surfing. You know, it could be just do stuff. Do new stuff. Don't get stagnant. You know, when people get bored, I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Oh, I'm fucking bored. Dude, how are you bored? I wish I had 10 lives. If I had 10 lives that I could run simultaneously, I'd have 10 different careers. I would like to do 10 different things. I really would. I really would. If I could have enough time, I would just fucking immerse myself in different things.
Yeah, I think that it's also you discovering new aspect of your personalities.
Yes.
It's like, do you ever thought that, you know, born and raised downtown Montreal, that I had a hunting instinct?
Right.
I'm the shape of a stick, and I was scared of my own shadow growing up. Like it's.
What was the first animal you hunted?
Land animal. Does it leeches? I salted when I was 4 count.
Leeches?
Yeah.
No, that's the hunting. You salted them? Is that what you're saying? How do you salt a leech? Like when it gets on you?
So you get it out in the water and you put salt on it, and then it kind of slowly, yeah, maybe it was like
that's torture. You're a psycho. That's not hunting. What was the first like hunting with like a gun?
So that was in New Caledonia. So that's close to Fiji, and that was, I'd say, about 5 years ago.
Oh, what did you close to Fiji?
Yeah.
What did you hunt?
Deer. It was a very cool day because we went spearfishing in the morning for wahoos, and then we went hunting in the afternoon.
Oh,
so it was so awesome. Surf and turf day.
Wow.
And I just remember I was bawling like
when you shot the deer.
Yes, and I don't cry. I very rarely cry.
Oh.
And I just to see I could see the deer tumbling down the hill, and I was like, this is I just can't take it. And then when I walked all the way to the deer and I saw it on the ground, I just remember putting my hand on it, and I stopped crying at that point. And it's kind of the emotion shifted. And I just like carried it back to camp, and then it shifted to the me processing aspect of it. And I've never cried after that hunting.
That was the first one, huh?
And
that was the only one you ever cried at?
Yeah.
I always have a feeling of loss when I walk up on an animal. There's always a feeling of loss. But I don't cry. But I remember the first one I ever shot was on camera. Because the first animal I ever shot was on Meat Eater. I shot a mule deer. And I shot it at I think it was 200 yards and dropped it with a rifle. and then I had to finish it off. We walked up to it, and it was still alive.
Ugh.
Yeah, so then I had to shoot it again. And so when I shot it again, there's a video of me taking it in. It's a video of me just like going like, it was heavy. It's heavy.
It's tough.
Because it's like, that's a living creature. And it's also, it's oddly, I hate to use this word, but I don't have another word, psychedelic. It's oddly psychedelic. Because the moment where I was, I locked eyes with that deer, and I saw it in its natural habitat, and it was like at 100 yards when we first spotted it, and then it went around this rock formation and came out, and then it was at like 200 yards, but it was this big, wild animal that was in its world. And it was probably like 4 or 5 years old, so it had been living in this area for its whole life and moving around and avoiding mountain lions and getting around, and it probably didn't even know what the fuck I was. Like, I don't even know if it had ever seen a person. I mean, this is Montana. It's a vast wilderness. I mean, maybe it's seen a person before, maybe, but it might not have. And so when I like lined up to take that shot, it's the first time you do anything is weird, right? But the first time you take an animal's life is really weird.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
And I remember being like real nervous. Like I wasn't like holding steady, and I had to take a deep breath, and then I had to like get back down, and then boom, and I dropped him. And then that was a bit of a relief. But then when I went up to it and it was still alive, I was like, oh, fuck. And then I had to put it away. And then when I put it away, there was this weird feeling of loss. There's this weird feeling of, it's just heavy. It's just heavy. And then also it's like I knew I have responsibilities. Like, what do I have to do? Like, what do I do now? Like, how do I do? And then we, took it. We took the organs out of it. We were pretty deep into the away from camp. So what we decided to do was hang the deer up, because it was almost dark. Hang the deer up on a tree. Take the organs. We were going to cook the heart and the liver for dinner. And so as we're cooking over this fire, I was thinking to myself, like, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I'm like, I'm eating this thing now. It was so delicious. And then later we're cooking the meat the next day. We had a bonfire, and I was with Brian Callen, and he shot a deer too. So we're cooking deer meat over this fire, and it was the most like primal, satisfying thing, because you think of like I love cooking like a nice ribeye steak over a fire. It's nice. It's like you barbecue. It's part of like, there's some weird caveman DNA that gets excited when you barbecue. But when you're barbecuing over a fire from some logs that you found when you're in the woods, there's no one around you for miles. It's 9 degrees outside, and you're laying down these back straps over this little tiny grill that we brought with us that sits over the fire, and you're eating this meat from an animal that you just shot, and then you're all sitting around eating it. It's like, it's the most prime. There's like a door that opens up, like, hey, you didn't know about this room in your brain. Like, come on into the caveman room. And it's like, it's not, I mean, caveman like mean, like,
None at all.
It's like, wow, it's so stimulating and exciting. And I was like, well, this is definitely the best way to get meat. Like, any other kind of meat that you would get from a grocery store, as delicious as it is, it doesn't come with this element. It's not a wild animal that you don't ever have to worry about being mistreated or, factory farming. There's none of that. This is wild. It's
but
just
also,
out there
like,
wild.
it's this, what are the possible deaths of a wild animal?
Yeah.
A gunshot to the head is probably the kindest one.
It's the best one. A gunshot is the best one, or an arrow is the best one.
It's
because otherwise they just get torn apart by predators, or they
eating alive, parasites. I have a very similar experience, and I was actually in South Texas, and it was very odd because it was my friend Chassie lives in Austin, and he took me with his kids hunting.
Oh.
So I met with these kids, like, much younger than me, and they're like helping me up, like setting up and everything. And it's this, I shot a deer, I shot too quickly, and it was my fault. And I've been, And I did a gut shot, which was pretty bad. So of course the deer was not dead. And so his son Callan is handing his dad the pistol. I'm like, no, like I want to do it. Like I'm the one who did the bad shot, so I should be the one finishing this. Like, do I want to do this? Absolutely fucking not.
Right.
I've never done anything like that before. My stomach is in my throat at this point. Like I'm not feeling well at all, and it's like, you know what? I'm going to do this because next time I'm pulling a trigger, I'm going to make sure that I'm careful and that I'm slow and that I'm taking my time.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like I remember so vividly just putting the gun on the head of the deer and finishing it. Then I was shaking and I was just not. And when it was over, I just closed my eyes and was like, okay, that's done. And then we got back to camp, and then he was like, oh, like this guy's going to take care of processing. I was like, no, not even a little bit. And so his dad Alan came, and we cut the deer, showed me how to process everything, and it was. And even then, I went to bed that night, and I was not feeling that great. I was like, this. We still haven't eaten it, and then the following day, so we processed the whole thing. It's like I went with a butcher, I cut everything, you know, made like ground beef and like I got a nail guy. We did sausages with a bunch of stuff, and then the second that it became pure meat, and then it looked like meat, and then I kind of hated that night. For me, the circle was closed, and this is when the guilt went away. So it took like a few days, but it's like the whole process of doing everything, and I would never go hunting without doing the whole thing.
The whole thing.
It's
Yeah.
I have to, otherwise I would find it hard trying at night, but. Also, like you said, I don't buy meat in the grocery store anymore. I just don't.
Well, it's without a doubt, it's the healthiest meat you could ever get.
It is 100%.
Doesn't it feel different when you eat it?
For sure, and it's even. I cooked burgers for the kids this week, and I did beef burgers, and I did nail guy burgers, and the beef burger pan, it was full of grease and a bunch of stuff that came out of the burgers, and the nail guy pan was nice, beautiful seared patty. Nothing was around it.
Yeah. Well, it's very lean. It's a
It's
very
very
lean
lean.
animal, but it's also so rich in protein.
That's so good.
Yeah, I've had Nilgai there's a restaurant in town called Daidue, and they serve Nilgai. Nilgai is a rare game animal in that it's an invasive species to Texas, so you can sell it in restaurants.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's good.
So you can buy.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you could buy a bunch of things here. They sell like different types of antelope and nilgai and different stuff that's it's whatever is not native, you know, exotic. They call them exotics. So
Okay.
nilgai I think it's from India.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wild looking creature. Such an interesting animal.
It's well, I have nail guy jerky if you want to.
All right, nice. Thank you. Well, I got some elk jerky for you. We'll trade.
Oh, okay, fine.
There you go. Nice. I have never eaten like a nilgai steak though. I've only had a daidue. I had nilgai ceviche. It makes it like a raw
Oh,
nilgai.
I've heard it's amazing.
It's really good. Well, Jesse Griffiths, he's the head chef and the owner of Daidue, which
Okay.
is this amazing restaurant in Austin. And he's a great guy. He's been on my podcast too. He's a really interesting guy.
I think I'm going Thursday.
Oh, to Daidue?
I think so, yeah.
You'll love it. It's great. It's really good. It's really good.
I'm excited.
If he has the fish and chips, it's fantastic. They use redfish, like Texas redfish, and it's just
Oh, awesome.
Fish and chips is one of those things where it's so simple. It's just batter fried fish and French fries, but if you fucking nail it, and he nails everything. So when you have a guy who's a really great chef who is also knows how to hunt and process his own game, and it's like there's an attention to detail and a respect and a love that he puts into those meals.
Yeah.
Because it's like he's responsible for the actual, and there it is. That's that
that's
fish
awesome.
and chips, baby. That's Daidue. Oh my God. I'm telling you. Is that recent? January 5th? Yeah. Oh my God. I might have to go down there as soon as my fucking diet's over. So I can have some batter.
It's the best way of living, and then sadly, it's I don't post anything that's hunting related. Very rarely.
Because if you do, they'll come for you.
It's so bad. It's social media is such a
It's a shit show.
It is a shit show.
It's a shit show.
It has some good aspects of it, actually.
Yeah.
It was a few years ago. I did like an open invite on my Instagram, and I had a bunch of people. I invited strangers off Instagram to come have a barbecue at my house.
What?
And there's about 50 people that showed up. I don't know
Why
how I
would
convinced my roommate of just to accept this.
Do you want some more ice? Why
sure,
would
thank
you let people know where you lived?
I mean, I'm
Don't do that again.
it's Florida.
It's Florida. It's okay.
I mean, it was.
Oh, that's
It was.
crazy.
Very weirdly, my roommate Austin was very open about this, and he said yes. And honestly, I made friends that night. It was one of the best nights of my life.
Really?
It was just a girl who drove 9 hours to come to the barbecue.
Oh, that bitch is crazy. I wouldn't let her in. I'll tell that girl she's got to stay home.
And everybody just got like their special
Cheers.
spice mix and special this and special that. It was. That's a cool thing about social media. There's a shit part of it, though. There's a very shit part of it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of crazy people, but it seems like you've cultivated a nice little group of people, but still, don't do that again. Don't
Yeah,
invite
my parents were not too happy.
random wackos over for a barbecue. It's the crazy thing is, like, sometimes it'll work out. You know? Like, sometimes you just meet random people and you have the best time of your life.
For sure.
Yeah, it's fun. Most people are cool. Most people are
is.
fun. It's just most people are fun most of the time too.
Sure.
Like,
But I'm more worried about younger girls, like people like of your daughter's generation, by example. It's already so hard being a teenager and this world that if you add social media to it, it's bad.
Well, what's gone up a lot is self-harm and suicide. They've gone up dramatically.
I can understand why, because I had no friends in school. I was bullied to a point that was bad, like bad. Like the school had to make me go in through the janitor's entrance because I was spit on and threw rocks at.
Why'd they bully you?
For 3 years in a row.
Why?
I don't know. I managed to piss off popular girl in school because a guy invited me to go to a movie, and it's just like became a shit show from them on. And it's if social media were added to that situation, I don't think I would have made it. I just don't. It's when you reach an age when you don't know who you are, you don't know what you do, you don't know like what person you want to become, and then when you add bullying into this, it's very hard not to feel fragile by it. And I really want trying to find a way to help younger girls in that generation to try to feel better by themselves.
Well, but we have to explain to people what bullying someone online is like. The thing is, like, bullying in real life is horrible. But at least you can go home. At least you have a break.
Yeah.
These kids don't even have a break because
No.
then they go on their phone. They're bullied online. They're bullied all day long. And for some people, it's just like it's too much. And suicide is way up with girls. Suicide is way up. Self-harm is way up. And there's a guy named Jonathan Haidt, and he wrote a book called The Coddling of the American Mind, and it's all about that. It's all about the impact of social media, and the ones who take it the worst are young girls. It's the worst. Social media is the worst for them for whatever reason.
For sure. It's even about images. It's as a teenager, I was seeing hot models in a magazine, and then, whatever, you feel a certain way about yourself because you don't look like that. But now it's influencers and it's people using filters and creating this fake kind of image that people are supposed to look like. And it's just added an extra level, I think, of hardness for young girls that are just trying to get by and reach adult life.
Yeah.
It's I'm happy I went through it because now I'm a million times stronger human being than I ever could be without that. But it's I don't know.
Yeah.
Even to this day, when somebody sends me an insult on social media, I'm like,
You shouldn't read it.
yeah, for sure. Definitely shouldn't read it. Definitely shouldn't read it.
Do you read comments on social media?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It depends, but it's like, it kind of made me develop this defense mechanisms, and I'm like, well, your mommy didn't love you enough, clearly, because if you're losing your entire day insulting people online, it's because, like, It's kind of trying to realize that if you're being negative on social media, it's because your life is not like you're miserable.
Yeah.
Nobody's happy and be like, you know what, I'm going to go and solve that bitch online today because my shit is so much together.
But it's like people do it because it's a game.
It is a game.
They do it to hurt someone's feelings because it's for whatever reason it's fun. That's what it is. It's like it's not just like they're miserable. Yeah. A lot of them are miserable, but that's not all it is. A lot of them are just having fun being assholes. And they don't see the thing about social media is if you're being cruel to someone in real life, you see their face, you feel what it's like. It's like you have to be a real sociopath to be mean to someone in real life and not feel anything.
Yeah.
But online, they don't feel shit because you're not even there. So they'll say horrible things about you. This fucking bitch. I hope she gets killed by a tuna. You know, and then and you're like, what the fuck did I do to you?
The internet is definitely a funny place. But also, I think people need to remember that, everybody has their shit going on in their life and, everybody have crap happening. And it's like, just always remember that.
That's true.
But again,
it's crap happening.
The more followers you have means you're giving the right to that amount of people to have an opinion on you and in your life and what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. But you shouldn't be reading that. The thing is, like, how many followers do you have now on the Instagram?
I don't know, like 280,000, I think, something like that.
Okay. I want you to think about that. Think about how many fucking people that is. How crazy that is. Think about like what you saw me in Tampa. That was 14,000 people.
I never thought about it like that.
Now, think of an extra 260,000 plus. And those are all the people commenting on you. How many of them are going to be idiots? A lot. Like, imagine you go to a crowd, right? You've been to a couple comedy shows, right? You go to a comedy show, there's always like, one is heckling. That's people in your comments. So you're reading that person's comment. And so if you go to a comedy show like at Vulcan in Austin, it's like 270 people. And we'll still have one or two idiots. But if you go to that place in Tampa, my God, how many idiots were there? There are probably like 1,000 idiots. You know, you have 14,000 people. The chances of there being 1,000 idiots are strong. At least 400 idiots.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, they're everywhere. So, like, now think of 280,000 followers, and how many of them are just broken dummies that are just, it's fucking bitch. They're just dorks. That's how you have to look at it. And if you let those people affect you, it's like it's not good for anybody. Not good for them. Not good for you.
For sure. I mean, the best advice somebody ever gave me is they told me, you could be the Swedish most amazing tasting peach in the world. Nobody's going to like fucking peaches.
Yeah, some people don't like peaches. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but that's how life is. That's one of the cool things about people, honestly. Not that they hate you, but there's one of the cool things is the variety of taste. Like, I don't get jazz. I don't get it. But, like, my friend Alonzo loves it. He goes on jazz cruises. He does stand-up on jazz cruises. And he fucking loves jazz. He loves it. Like, he'll talk about jazz. He's into, like, he'll tell you different kinds of jazz he's into. I mean, I don't mind if it's in the background. If I go to a bar and jazz is playing, that's cool. But, I mean, if I'm going to choose to listen to music, that's not what I choose to. But, obviously, there's a percentage of our population that likes it.
Yeah. I think it's about just, you know, you don't like jazz, you just don't listen to it.
Yeah, but that's the cool thing is that humans vary so much that something that is completely uninteresting to you, like opera, completely uninteresting.
Yeah.
To someone else, it's everything. It is life. It's life. They cannot wait for the next opera. They cannot wait to hear someone. Oh. They can't wait. They can't wait for a symphony. They can't wait for a play. They can't wait to go to a museum and see modern art, which I find at least 34% repulsive. You know what I mean? It's like that's one of the cool things about people is how much we vary in what we like.
Oh, I know all about that. I mean,
Yeah.
It's like I fit in 0 freaking boxes in life, so it's...
Neither do I. Yeah. Well, it's like, I get this all the time with my podcast, because people get mad at this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, don't listen.
Yeah.
I don't want you to listen. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want you to be upset. Like, that shows, like, someone wrote some article apparently saying just, they always say toxic masculinity. Guess what? This is what guys like to hear. This is what guys like to say. We like to talk shit. Okay, you don't have to listen. I get it. It's not for you. I get it. Well, don't listen. It's that simple. To focus on what you don't like versus focusing on what you do like, that's you.
Yeah.
That's on you. If you're there writing articles about what you don't like and focusing on what you don't like, that's your problem. It's your problem. It's not the problem of the person who you don't like, because obviously people like me. I don't know what to tell you. Somebody likes the show. So if they didn't like it, no one would listen and all the problems would go away. But you know the surefire way to have more people like it? Keep talking shit about it. You fucking idiots. Because the more you talk shit about it, the more people are going to know about it. And they're going to go, well, he's getting people really riled up. Let me see what the fuss is all about. And then they listen and they go, hey, he's not like that at all. Like, this is not like that at all. It's just like people want to have something to say about things. So sometimes they'll create a narrative. So they'll look at you and they're like, this dumb bitch out there fishing and killing all the fish. I hope a fucking fish eats her. You know, like, but why are they
Pretty
doing
big.
that? That'd be a big fish, right? What's the biggest fish you've ever speared?
A marlin. It was about 400 pounds.
Holy shit. Was it attached to a rope?
Yeah, it was like
So you're holding on to him?
like an elastic. The spear is attached to a bungee, which is attached to a buoy. So the buoy, when a fish takes off, the buoy takes off.
So you knew you were going for marlin at the time?
No, not at all.
Wow.
I was going for tuna, actually.
400 pounds.
I was very scared that he would spear me back, which, you know, would have been kind of fair enough.
Sorta.
Yeah.
Damn, is that possible? Would he attack you? That's him? Holy shit.
I was just guessing. I don't know that that's it officially.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
it.
it?
Yeah.
You would know.
Holy
That's a black marlin
fuck.
that I got
That
in
thing is huge.
Baja.
What did that taste like? I've never had marlin.
It's really good.
Yeah?
It's kind of similar to swordfish.
Yeah?
It's awesome meat.
Wow. Look at the size of that fucker. Because most of the time they don't eat them. Why is that?
They can have high level of mercury, so you just don't heat the whole thing, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But it's amazing tasting.
Really?
I gave away a big part of it in Mexico when I was, and I took back home about 50 pounds with me.
Do you smoke it? Like, how do you cook it?
I only kept just not too much. I probably kept like 10 pounds of it, not even.
So you brought 50 pounds home, so you just give away the other 40?
Yeah, I actually put on my Instagram that I was giving away marlin at the grocery store, corner of that street and that street, and I just gave away all of it.
And people just showed up? Yeah. Really? Oh,
I like
that's
meeting
cool.
people.
Wow, that's really nice. That's very cool of you. Wow.
It was fun. Nobody killed me yet, so let's see.
Jesus, don't put that out there. So when you shot this marlin, how long before you could actually get it in the boat? Like, how much time does it take after you shoot a marlin?
It took me about 2 hours. So the fish basically just like took off, and it was as soon as I shot it. So basically, I was in the water and I saw this marlin like coming from the deep, and of course, when I tried going towards it, it was swimming away. So I kind of just like turned around and looking from the corner of my eye, and he just turned away because I was like, "What's that thing?" Not even looking at me. And he turned around and gave me like a complete like
Broadside shot?
So
How far away?
pretty close, probably from me to Jamie. So I said that's
Really?
I don't know what's that in
15 feet?
or whatever you guys are using.
What,
about
what are
4
we
meters.
using? In America, land of the free, home of the brave? It's called feet, not meters. 4 meters. The fuck's it?
And so I was like, okay, my gun was pretty small, so I thought I can either shoot it in the gills, but then I would risk to just not go all the way through it. And you really want the spear to go all the way through it.
Yeah.
So I shot it mid-body, and the spear went through it, and I went back to the surface, grab onto the buoy. One buoy is not a lot for a fish that's that big.
And you just hung onto the buoy and
So
went for a ride?
I like bear hugged the buoy, and I was yelling at the boat, "Bring me to the buoy! I have a big fish on!"
Wow.
And the boat comes like super quickly. And basically, it was another guy in the water, so like have to take take the other people out of the water, making sure everything is clear. Meanwhile, I'm like hanging onto the buoy. The boat comes in, throws me into the buoy. I'm clipping. The fish is like swimming. Like it's my snorkel is like with the wind and the water. That thing is going. And then I had the second buoy in. I'm like, okay, this is more pressure. So now the fish is dragging an elastic rope that's like, creating pressure, 2 buoys and me.
Whoa.
So I'm kind of waiting for it to slow down and to tire it up. When I feel there's no pressure anymore, so there's like a clip, and then the bungee cord, I put it up, put it up. And then when the fish come close enough, so I had a second smaller gun to give it like a last shot, basically. And the first 7 to 8 times, the fish, as soon as it was seeing me, was going back down. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sakes. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I keep pulling the fish out. I'm not feeling good. Like I'm feeling so bad. I puked after. That's that. But you so much adrenaline, and you're like using all your energy. And the last time he was just like he had no energy left, so I managed to give it a second shot. Then I brained it, and then
in the brain.
So went back to the surface.
Where do you shoot to get the brain?
So most of the time it's basically like right behind the eye. So kind of behind at the top of the head and the eye. That's kind of where the fish brain is. So I bled it.
When you brained them, did it just stiffen up?
They just stop. They kind of like either like shake a little bit and just stop moving. Then you just bleed it and put it back in the boat.
Wow.
I didn't talk the entire way.
Really?
I was just like with my Matto pen, and if people were talking to me, I was like, shh. I was like, I can't right now. I don't even know what just happened.
That's so big. 400 pounds is so big to shoot with a spear gun.
So we get back to the dock, and there's like a bunch of like Mexicans gathering. And like, oh, nice. You like, who got that? And they pointed like the girl in the background. I'm like, me.
That's hilarious. Do you like that you are like this like
It's
thin girl that's killing these giant? Look at the size of that thing. My God. That is huge.
That was a nice fish.
It's so wide. Wow, that is cool. Is that the spear that's laying on top of it there?
Yeah, that's the spear, yeah.
Wow. That's massive.
It was so great. I was so in shock that I could barely speak.
How long is it?
How long is the fish?
Yeah. Don't give me meters either.
Good question.
It looks like it's like 9 or 10 feet long. Is that right?
Pretty long. Yeah, it's probably like a
9
good
feet?
like something like that. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Were you thinking at any point in time like, oh my God, I bit off more than I could chew?
Yeah, definitely. After I shot it, I was like, oh shit.
What have I done?
This is when the fun comes out.
I'm going to get dragged to the bottom of the ocean hanging on this buoy.
It's like, this may be my last day, but
Wow.
will be a fun one.
What is have you shot anything big other than that? Like, is that by far the biggest thing you've ever shot?
Yeah, that's by far the biggest one I ever shot.
What have you shot before that's like, if you shot like a 50-pound fish?
I shot like a 100-pound
Oh, you did?
black tuna, so it was.
Oh.
I got big fish, but this was like. I was like, this fish can take me down. That's the first time that I was like, there's a possibility that I do not win this battle.
I caught a tuna that was probably like 25 pounds or 30 pounds once.
In
Wasn't
Hawaii?
that big. Yeah, in Hawaii. And it was so strong.
Mm-hmm.
When I hooked him, I was like, holy shit, what is this? And the guy was like, I think that's a tuna. I think that's a tuna. Because he was so powerful. I couldn't imagine a 100-pound one.
They're so strong. They're like muscle. If you put your hand, that sounds maybe creepy, but if you fillet a fish when you just got it right off the boat, it's warm inside. Mm-hmm. It has it has warm body temperature.
Yeah.
Because it never stopped moving. So a tuna doesn't stop.
Mm.
So if you shoot at a tuna and you would aim at like the tip of the nose, because by the time you shoot, even if the fish looks like he's not moving, he's moving. He's always in movement.
Really?
Yeah.
So you have to lead them.
Yeah.
Mm.
So they're pretty big. They're just like a big ball of muscle, like, and constant movement.
How fast does a spear gun go? Like, what's the feet per second of the spear itself?
I have no clue.
You really?
No.
Oh, that's the difference between spear gunners and archers. You ask an archer, they'll tell you 285 feet per second at 425 grains. I'm shooting a 70-pound hoit. They'll tell you.
I know how far I can shoot.
Yeah? How far can you shoot?
A good 25 feet. Well, my biggest gun, a good 25 feet.
25 feet, is it?
Yeah.
Well, that's super intimate. See, the
Oh, yeah.
way people have described it to me, they said you would love spearfishing to me. Because they said it's basically like bow hunting in the water.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
it's not like fishing. It really almost
even a
shouldn't
little
be
bit.
called spearfishing.
It's not even fishing
water
a little
hunting.
bit.
It's water hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you go down, so you breathe up at the surface, so you calming your heartbeat and everything. You're slowing everything down, and then you take a drop, and this is when the hunting starts. So you have different. You get it by ambush or curiosity. So there's
so they get
different
curious?
ways. It depends on the species. Different species react differently.
Which species are curious?
Snapper, I guess that would be a really curious one. There's a lot of fish there that can be curious.
Snappers are curious?
That marlin got curious.
Really? Whoops.
Yeah.
Snappers are curious? That's weird because they're so delicious.
It really depends, and it's especially that's the beauty of freediving is you don't make any noises. You're just there, and it's like when you're not good at spearfishing, it's because you move around and you're very
You
jittery
make
in
too
the
many
water, and this is
movements.
when the fish
Yeah.
is like, "Oh, idiot once," and like, I'm just gonna go do
Yeah.
my thing.
That's the same with hunting. You can't make big movements. Like you can look at an animal with binoculars, but if you do, you gotta like go like this. You gotta like if you're gonna look at an elk with binoculars, you gotta go like this.
Oh wow.
Yeah. This is me slowly lifting my hands up to my head. But if you do that, you could lift those binoculars and eventually you get to here. But it takes. That's how you have to do it. You can't just go like that. They'll go, fuck this. Pew.
And
They'll
they can
just bolt.
see you.
Yeah. But even if they see you, you can kind of go like this.
So if the movement is very slow,
It's gotta be very
They
slow.
don't really mind.
It's got to be very slow. They're looking out for fast twitch predator movements. You know, so if you
Do
are
this.
holding something and you're just going like this, or I'm just looking through these binoculars.
So you enter the slow
you-
dumb category.
Well, you enter into this category where it's like, what is that? The thing's looking at you like, what the fuck is that tree doing over there? It's almost like they don't understand wind, right? So they see movement, they might think it's like blowing in the wind. It's not, but it's not this. If you like lift your binos up to your face real quick, they just fucking jet. Like, oh, that's it. That's a person, or that's a thing. That's a predator.
Okay, that's a
Did I
good
tell you
trick.
about the mountain lion I saw in Utah?
No.
Oh boy, I've seen mountain lion. I've seen two mountain lions before this one. One of them I saw in Colorado. One of them I saw in Montecito, which is outside of Santa Barbara in California, which is weird because it's like this beautiful suburban community. It's gorgeous, and I see this thing that I thought was a coyote running across the road, and then I noticed its tail. It had this like flowing, bouncing mountain lion tail. I was like, "Oh shit, that's a cat!" And I was like, "That's a fucking mountain lion." It was wild, but it was nothing like what I saw in Utah. What I saw in Utah was enormous. The one I saw in Montecito was probably like 60 pounds, 70 pounds, something like that. Not that big. This one was 170 pounds easy. It might have been more.
Oh wow.
It was huge. It had a big old pumpkin head and giant forearms, and I was only 30 yards from it. It was really close. And we were in a truck. Luckily, we were in a truck. Because if I was out on foot, outside, I would be shitting my pants. Because it was very different. Looking in that
attack
thing's
you?
eyes, perhaps. There was two of us, so probably not. And my buddy did have a gun with him in the truck. I mean, I would imagine not, but fucking you never know. It's like if you catch one hungry, like you don't know. Like if a mountain lion just thinks he can get away with it, they might do it. They've killed people for hundreds and hundreds of years. They've killed people. I mean, they tried not to be around people because they associate people with danger. But if you're a hiker and you're like out there by yourself and the mountain lion's like, there's nobody with this motherfucker. They might just kill you. I mean, it happens. It happened 2 times last year. Someone got killed in Washington State and someone got killed in Portland, outside of Portland,
Jeez.
by mountain lions.
Just hiking.
Yeah. Yeah, just hiking. Yeah. And there's another one recently where a guy shot a mountain lion in the face. He was bow hunting, and a mountain lion was like 10 yards away from him, creeping up on him. He was like, "Get out of here. Fuck off. Get out of here." and the thing's like looking at him, and then he just like pulls out his gun and whacks it in the face. But it's so intense. I'm gonna see that. Find that video. It's so intense because you could see the guy shitting his pants. Like, look at this. Go full screen. And give me from the beginning.
You get back.
Look at that. Look how close. I mean, that literally might be 10 feet. That's so close. Look at it.
Get back.
What a guy's freaking out.
You get back. Back. No. No. I just had to shoot this mountain lion.
Would he have filmed that so people believe him?
Pounced at
Is that
me and
like-
I popped it in the face.
Could be.
Holy shit.
Well, that is like you show that to the game warden. The game warden's gonna go, okay, you all right, buddy? Like that's not like because sometimes people do shoot mountain lions and they're just assholes.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's trying to get away, maybe it's just looking at you and you don't have to shoot it, but that is so goddamn close. Like that guy had to shoot
Just
it.
to get to that though, do you think he had his phone already filming and then like it came
It was
up?
probably closing in on him.
Oh, and then he was
if
like,
I
"All
had
right,
a,
I gotta-"
if I had a guess, because the way it's so close to him, I mean, I think that's a juvenile, and sometimes the juvenile ones are the most dangerous because they don't know what they can kill and what they can't kill
Sharks
yet.
is the same, and it's
really?
like when people. I'm guessing that if you posted that video, people would go crazy on it. Like you're in the lion mountain habitat, blah 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 blah. You shouldn't be here anyways, blah blah blah.
Those people need to go eat shit. Like you're in the mountain lions neighborhood.
It's the same with sharks. Like when that surfer got attacked by a shark during a competition.
Yeah.
And people are like, we're using a shark habitat. Okay. Put your mom who's going on a swim and Cuba, whatever. You guys are not allowed to go there.
You can go to Cuba, can't you? Can you go to Cuba? I know what you're saying.
Anyway,
though.
so like and a shark comes in. Who do you pick?
Right. Are you
Mr.
on
Like
Team Human?
my mummy is in a shark habitat.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on. That's just a thing people say. And it's usually a thing people say when they have no experience at all with wildlife.
Yeah.
I mean,
Probably.
we're so insulated. That's one of the more unique things about the path that you've chosen because you were not a person who grew up hunting and fishing
Yes.
and living in the wild, and you chose that life. So you had to kind of integrate yourself, and you had to become a part of that world and figure out the rules of that world and understand. There's a lot of people that don't. They don't ever
Sure.
understand that world.
But it's as you know, because like, it was the same situation for you, right? That's not you
Yeah.
didn't grew up into it, and
No.
it's. I think sometimes people kind of are not giving enough credibility to the passion you can develop when you get that. Like the story you were telling about hunting earlier, it's you can fall in love with this lifestyle and this way of living so hard, even though it was not like I told you earlier. Like as I was a kid, I was scared of my own freaking shadow when growing up. It's like like I can barely lift like a 5-pounder. It's you change and you evolve, and that's just the way you become. And I think it's not that different, and I don't think you get less either credibility or you're allowed to love it as much as somebody who's been doing it since they were 4.
Yeah, you're certainly allowed to. But that's the thing about everything. People like to claim things as be like, this is our thing. This is my world. This is my, like, no, it's like, come on. It's like, life is open-ended. There's a lot of things you can do. And when someone decides to become a spearfisher person at, 28 years old, like, why not? Why not? Who gives a shit? Why not? Whether you want to do jiu-jitsu at 54 like that lady Betty. Why not? Why not? Fucking, there's no rules. Just go do it. Don't think you're going to be like the best at it. Things take time and energy, and respect that. Respect the people that have already put in that time and energy. That's very important.
Sure. I mean, but you can get good. This lady
Yeah.
got to a black belt.
In 11 years at 54 years old. That's wild.
It's crazy.
It's wild. So 65, she gets her black belt. It's crazy.
It's about work and dedication, but anything that you do, and I've heard that a lot from people, like, oh, no, I'm too old to try this, I'm too old. Like, it's not even a little bit. You can try
Silly.
anything at any age.
Yeah, that kind of talk is silly. But
or like
it's people
being
think
scared of
that,
looking
though.
stupid.
Yeah, they're scared of looking stupid.
That's
But looking stupid's good for you.
100%. You have to look stupid.
Yeah, being like humbled. It's good for you. It's like that's how you learn, and then next time you get better, or eventually you get better, and then you look back at that time we sucked. Like one of the things that led me to excel in jiu-jitsu was thinking how badly I got abused when I was a white belt. I got tortured. Guys beat the shit out of me. And I remember thinking, I can't believe how easy it is for these guys to mangle me. I was not by any stretch of the imagination like an overnight success in jiu-jitsu. Not by any stretch of the imagination. I was a brown belt for 8 fucking years. So it's like when I remember my white belt days, I think about it and I was like, that is probably one of the biggest motivating factors for me to keep going. It's like, I realized I was so bad. I couldn't believe it because I was a really good martial artist. Like I was a Taekwondo champion. I had kickboxed and I had good striking skills. So for me to just get humiliated like that, I was like, what? Like this is crazy. I thought it would be like boxing. Like when I went from Taekwondo to boxing, I wasn't good at boxing at all, but I was definitely way ahead of someone who had never done striking before.
Yeah.
So I figured I would be like that. Like when I got into kickboxing, I was pretty good pretty quick because I had already gotten good at kicking things and I had done some punching in Taekwondo. And I'm like, I'm just going to learn some fundamentals and I'm going to excel at this. But then when I got into jiu-jitsu, I was like, oh my God, I'm on the ground floor. Like I'm literally, I thought I was on like the 4th floor. No 4th floor, bitch. You're on the ground. I'm in the basement, just getting mangled. It was humiliating. But I always remember thinking, like, this is incredible because the guy who was several people humiliated me, but I always remember this one purple belt one day just brutalized me. And I would think, like, this guy wasn't bigger than me. He wasn't stronger than me. There wasn't anything about him that was, like, physically imposing. He was just way better than me. So part of me was like, I want to be like that one day, where when I roll with someone, I know that I'm just going to strangle them because I've gone through the gauntlet. I've gone through, but the only way you get there is by looking like an idiot.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%. I think it works for everything. It's when
Yes.
I picked up spearfishing, I went around the world and I went diving with the best spearfishermen in the world. And like, I shut the fuck up and I listened.
Yes.
That's the
good.
only thing you had to do. And I was like feeling out of place. I was feeling that I was not.
Yeah.
I suck, and that's okay.
Ask
Sucking
questions.
is good.
It's good to ask questions. Yeah.
There's always somebody who's going to be better than you. So
yeah.
it's just like you have to learn that. And I've been raised that way, so I've been used to that since I'm a kid. It's everybody takes the piss out of each other in my family. It's like the biggest
really?
activity is making fun of each other.
That's fine.
So I remember for my 30th birthday, I sent a photo of my mom. I was in Key West, and I fell off the bicycle that I rented there, so I fucked up all my knee, and it's bleeding. So I sent a photo of my mom. I was like, I hurt myself. Thinking that she's going to be like, oh, are you okay? She went into the album of my childhood, digged up a photo of me who just fell off my bicycle crying, took a photo, sent it to me, and said, like, looks like you haven't got much better.
That's hilarious. That's so...
I've been raised by a savage woman.
Have you ever thought about taking your mom spearfishing?
Yeah, she would be good at it. I took my sister.
Did she?
And she was like going like 30 feet and being fearless
Really?
and everything. And I was like,
Wow.
my first day I had a freaking panic attack. And here you are like being like super good and freediving. I've taught you nothing yet.
Well, maybe it's because she knows that you can do it. It's like, if this bitch could do it, I could do it.
Yes, that would definitely sound like my sister.
Really? Is that what it is?
She always was better than me in sports, so I don't think it changed much.
Oh, so
she was strong. She's younger than me, and she always been stronger and better at sport than.
So maybe she saw that you could do it and gave her courage to do it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, there's something to be
She
said
was like,
about
that Morin can do it for sure. I can.
What was your first day like when you first did it? Like, how did you do it? Like, did you have a friend? Like.
Yes. So I made friends in London who were super into it, and it took me. I didn't really want to go, but yeah, I kind of have a little bit of FOMO happening here. So I was like, fine, I'll try it once because I'm going to try everything once.
In London.
In London.
So they were going in the ocean outside of England.
So basically, we flew to Egypt to take a freedive class.
Egypt.
And I got there and was like, nah, it's cool. I liked it.
What
And
kind
I'm
of
like, cool.
fish are in Egypt?
It says no fishing. It was just free diving because you have to free dive before you spearfish.
Okay.
It's free diving is like the base. It's you just
Right, of
otherwise
course.
it's a bit dangerous. And they're like, good, because in 3 months we're going to this big trip. We're going to this island called Ascension Islands, middle of nowhere.
3 months.
And I'm like, okay, so like, what is spearfishing? Explain to me what we're gonna do. Oh, it's cool. So we're gonna like go like 100 miles away from shore, and I don't know my miles, so that's probably like I don't know, probably like 20 miles away from shore. I don't know.
100 miles is like, how many kilometers is that?
It's a lot. I think.
What is it? What's
If you do it the other way, maybe that's like 100 kilometers is really more.
100 kilometers? Isn't that 60 miles? No. I literally have no
Yeah,
idea.
62.
Okay.
62.
It's-
Okay.
Okay.
So we went maybe probably about like 20 miles, 30
Okay.
miles away from shore. And so they explained it to me that it's going to be like about like 150 feet deep of water, and I'm not going to see the bottom, and I have to jump in the water and just do drops and just like take a dive, look around, come back up. I'm like, I'm going to do what now? And like, it's no, I'm like, just like, no, I'm not fucking doing that. It's like, yeah, you'll be fine. The boat is you're going to drift. The boat is going to follow you. I'm like, no, what? Are you insane? And I did it, then I just jumping in, and the water was so fucking awesome. And I caught my first fish that day, and
What'd
My-
you catch? What was it?
I got a blackjack. It's like it's not a good fish to eat. Honestly.
It's not?
No.
What's a blackjack? What does it look like?
It's a jack type of fish, and it's
Like a Drac Creval? Like,
yeah, kind of the same family, just completely black, and it's
It's not good to eat?
it's not great.
What it
It's
taste like?
edible, but it's not great.
What it
It's
taste
kind
like?
of like it's just a bit. It's kind of chicken that tastes a bit fishy.
Chicken that tastes fishy.
Yeah, kind of.
Interesting.
It
Is
was odd.
Can it be treated with like certain spices or something?
Yeah, you can if you make it good. I mean, just the fact that it was my first fish made it taste freaking awesome.
Right.
But it was so of course my friends were like, well, like you shot a fish, good for you, but now you have to bring it back to the boat. And it's I've
it
never
big?
had friends who given me like handouts like, oh, I'm gonna do this for you, I'm gonna help you, and blah blah blah. I was always very much like,
Do it for yourself.
you do it, which is
Right.
good because now in situations when I don't know what to do. So thanks to your friends, Cameron Haynes.
Yes.
So I was in Alabama. I shot a deer. Got dark. Nobody's coming to pick me up yet because there's other people with deer. So I'm like, I've seen Cameron Haynes do that. I'm gonna put that fucking deer on my back. So I'm like,
Really?
oh yeah. So there's like little hill things. I'm dragging the deer up the hill. So I'm like, perfect. Putting like the legs going down the hill. So I'm like, great. Put myself on the ground, put my back on the ground with like my knees up, and like sliding behind it, grabbing like both set of legs on each side. So I'm just like carrying back to the path, and then the quad's gonna come pick me up.
Right.
So I'm like grabbing two legs, like I didn't lift the fucking thing an inch off the ground.
How much did it weigh?
So I had something like 85 pounds.
That's it? 85 pounds of dead weight is a lot to carry around.
I didn't lift that freaking thing up. So I was like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm like cursing into my beard and like
You know, you have to do?
dragging the thing by the legs at night, holding my phone.
You have to keep hammering. That's what Cam would say. Got to keep hammering.
Gotta get the guns bigger.
He loves carrying the heavy shit. He does one workout he does. One of the ways I met him is he had YouTube videos of different ways that he trained for bow hunting. And that was the first time I had ever heard of anybody training for hunting. I was like, why does he train for hunting? Like, I don't get it. I'd never done any bow hunting. And then I didn't understand like what it was like to be in the mountains. Like the amount of cardiovascular energy you need and the amount of endurance you need and the amount of physical strength you need just to carry things up the mountain. Like if you have to bring an animal down, if you have to pack an animal out, or he had a rock that weighed like 130 pounds and he would carry it on his shoulder. He put it in a backpack. He would carry it a bunch of different ways and go up this mountain. And he was like doing these YouTube videos where he was talking while he was carrying this fucking 135 pound rock up a mountain. I was like, what is this guy doing? Like, what's this guy all about? Like, this is weird. And then I got to know him and try to understand, like, and then I had him on a podcast and he gave me a bow, took me bow hunting. It's very interesting. That's how I became friends with him.
Well, next time you can take me and you can carry me, guys. Like you guys can just carry me in a backpack. At least I can just like stick my head out and just look at the landscape around.
Don't you want to carry yourself? You do. You'd be upset if people were carrying you around. You'd want to carry yourself. We got to get you to more than 35 pounds of pull. When you pull 35 pounds back, is it hard?
I could up to 45. I can pull back.
Did you do 45?
I did 45. It's 50. I was like
you try
50.
To pull a 50
I'm just like.
bow? A lot of it's technique though, because you're not pulling just with this one arm. You're pushing and pulling at the same time. So 50 is really only 25. Because it's 25 pounds of pull, 25 pounds of push. And it's a small window because it's a cam. So as the cam rotates over, it gets easier. So as you're right here, then it's 50. But then it goes like this. Boom.
Yeah.
And then it's easy.
50 was...
We got to help you with your technique, though.
There's guns in. Tyler told me to keep 35 for a little while just to get like my technique like really like dialed in and get
Did
like
you
really good at it.
Shoot at his range? The
Yeah.
range they have at Archery
did, yeah.
Country? That's nice. Beautiful.
I had a really good time.
It's a fun thing to do, right? Even
It
if
is
you don't
really
ever
fun.
plan on hunting, it's a very fun thing to do.
I really found myself falling in love with the whole hunting thing. I mean, it was kind of a natural progression of spearfishing anyways.
Yes, totally. Seems to
And
me.
it's just if I like the idea of being self-sufficient just in general. I don't like being dependent on anybody.
The thing
Probably
about
why
hunting,
I'm
though,
freaking 34 single.
that might be one of the reasons. But like a rifle, though, when you get a rest, all you have to do is just keep your shit together and boom! Rifles are the best.
I love hunting with rifles.
If you want to shoot something and you want to kill it and eat it, rifles are the best. That's the way to go. The thing about a bow is it's more challenging. It's a different thing. But I shot a pig this year with a rifle. It was awesome. I loved it.
I think also you need to know what you're doing. So a lot of people are like, "Why do you need to go into bow hunting?" I'm like, firstly, it's if I'm going to shoot something with a rifle, I'm going to probably hurt it enough if I take my time. If I'm hunting something with a bow, the chance of me hurting it and the thing suffering for a very long time is probably very high.
It is very high with you have a 35-pound bow.
Yes.
You know, in a lot of places, you're not even legally allowed to hunt with a 35-pound bow.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the case of Texas, but there's many states where I think the limit for a lot of states is 45 pounds. You have to be able, because the idea is like you're not going to get enough energy to go through rib cages and stuff like that and hit vital organs.
I could do 45 now. It's
gotta
just
start
about, I
getting
just want to
jacked,
be good
girl.
at 35, then move up my way through the food chain.
Well, listen, when you're in Florida, just find a trainer. Just start doing some rows. Just start doing something where like cable rows are the best. Because here's the thing with cable rows, Cam does these. You could take a weight, like a 25-pound dumbbell or a 10-pound dumbbell, whatever, and just hold it straight out like this, and then grab a cable, like a cable machine, and pull back like that. And just practice pulling back. And you'll develop all those muscles that you use to pull back a bow.
Yeah, I think a training plan is probably a good thing. I like training for shit. Like I like having a goal and like tell me try to do that. Like
You got to get after it now,
Yeah,
though, because you have right now we're almost February, so you have 9 months. 9 months to October, and you guys are gonna hunt. Where'd you say Alaska?
I think so.
What are you hunting in Alaska?
Elk.
Elk in Alaska. Interesting. Donnie Vincent knows his shit. That'll be good. Good for you.
I don't know him. It's for a documentary, so it's.
You haven't met him yet?
No, I haven't met him.
He's great. Great guy. Very smart. Was a wildlife biologist. He had a great story on the podcast I did with him about wolves. It's really interesting. Yeah,
but he's had this like super cool badass photo where he's like carrying a mountain lion. Actually,
yeah,
is
he
that what
shot
it
a
is?
mountain lion. Yeah,
So yeah,
which are delicious.
Two
by the
people
way.
who delusioned me into thinking I could carry my deer back to camp.
Well, Donnie Vincent's a big, brawny man. Big, handsome, scrappy man. He's got a great image, too. He just looks good.
He's a good-looking guy.
Oh, he's handsome. He's got the flowing white hair, and it's like he's got the fucking wool hat on. He's so handsome. But he's interesting. He's an interesting character. He's a very smart guy, and a guy who really deeply respects wildlife, too. He makes a lot. He's got a weird path, and unfortunately, I don't think the path is the best way. Like he makes these movies, and you have to pay on Vimeo to watch the movie. But this is the internet, son. You know, I can only give so much advice, but my advice is always make shit free.
It's hard to get people to pay for stuff.
They don't want to pay for shit. Like,
That's
if
true.
you want to keep your audience small, like this podcast might get to a point where I might like put up a paywall just so nobody listens. Just get to a point where just like you know, you could sort of like slide into obscurity. You could slide away. You know?
Is that your retirement plan?
Yeah, that's my retirement plan. Put up a paywall and then, you know, donate a lot of money to charity so people don't get mad at me about the money. But just to make it so that it's harder to get.
But it's good to have people like that know what they're doing and that very knowledgeable, because you know, like, that it's spearfishermen or hunters. I think we have a very big reputation of being a bunch of dumbasses who just like to kill stuff.
Yeah, that's not true. You know, it's hard to do, but it's like everything else, like jujitsu. Like a lot, you know, if you asked the average person, like, what is jujitsu about? They're like, oh, a bunch of idiots choking each other. But then you meet people like, you know, the really brilliant jujitsu people. Like they're like John Danaher, the guy who's one of the most brilliant people I've ever talked to in my life, and he's a jiu-jitsu professor. Like these people that are looking at it from the outside, it's an honest mistake. It's a normal mistake. But it's the same thing with hunting. It's the same thing with everything. You think it's easier than it is. You think it's simpler than it is. Human beings are complex. And all the different things that we do, whether it's race car driving or ballet or yoga, they're harder than you think they are. All those things. Do you want to get good at something? It's hard. You want to be a good poet? It's hard. You want to write songs? It's hard. You know, you want to do stand-up comedy? It's fucking hard. All these things are hard. Everything's hard. Everything worth doing is hard. And that's okay, too. It's okay to be, but it's like this dismissal of it. You know, like, oh, these fucking people, they're just idiots that like to kill things. Are there people like that out there? Yes, there are. Just like, are there people that, they're painters and they suck? Yeah, of course. Because there's a limited, like the barrier to entry for fishing is very easy. Go buy a fishing license, go get a rod, get some hooks, get some line, get some bait or get some lures and figure it out. Go do it. It's the barrier to entry. So any moron, like remember our story about the 14,000 people in the arena?
Yeah.
How many of those people are morons? Like hundreds, right? So that's the same thing with fishing. It's with everything else, with hunting, with everything else. Like if you look at the moron that goes hunting and say, oh, that's what a hunter is, or the moron that does jiu-jitsu, or the 14-year-old girl punched you in the face, and you go, that's whatever. They're all just all punching each other in the face. Now that's rare. That's a young child. That's part of it. Someone doesn't have control. That's part of it. They don't understand yet. That's part of it. But there's a wide variety. But the thing is, if you see like George St. Pierre training, you go, oh, wow, this is wild. Like you get to see it at a super high level and all the exchanges and all the positions and all the different transitions that they're going through. You go, oh, this is complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very complex.
Very complex. Like I said, I've been doing it forever, and I still watch new things that people do, and I'll go, oh, how did he do that? Like, I'll show you. I have a bunch saved on my phone where I'll go over them, and I'll go, oh, look at that. And then I'll think, can I do that? I don't even know how to get my fucking leg up there like that. It's cool.
I think there's a stigma, too, about the fact that it's when, what society often doesn't understand. It's easy to critique in a way, and it's easier for people to understand a vegan who says, "I love animals and I don't want to eat it." And that's a statement it's easier to understand that, like, yeah, I go out there, I train, I actually harvest like protein, then I bring it back home.
I bet if that vegan was staring down one of those grizzly bears in Wyoming, or that mountain lion that guy shot, I think they'd have a completely different thought about what wildlife is.
For sure. Anyways,
you would look at that demon where it's looking at you in the eye like this. Just thinking of eating you.
But it's all bullshit in the end, because it's if you look at Beyond Meat, by example, like when that Seaspiracy.
What is it?
Seaspiracy.
Seaspiracy? Can you just imagine me speaking French, how bad I would be at it? So feel free to mock me.
So basically, like when I came out, I got really pissed, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do some digging because like this is an outrage to freaking people who've been dedicating their lives to sustainable seafood. Not me, but like, people are underpaid, undervalued, everything you can think of. And Beyond Meat, by example, or even the fake shrimp they're promoting at the end of the documentary.
They have fake shrimp?
Oh yeah, so they promote for 15 minutes talking about they made up this vegan fake shrimp and like people should buy it. It's made with palm oil.
That shit's so bad for you.
First of all, and then guess who's a lead investor in the company?
The people who made the documentary?
Tyson Meat.
Oh.
Tyson Meat was also one of the biggest investors.
Tyson Meats? Is that what you're saying? Do you understand what you're saying?
I
kind of get it.
Tyson Meats.
Tyson Meats. That's what she's supposed to say. Tyson Meats.
But it's crazy. It's like now, like the meat industry is actually funding the vegan stuff.
Of course they are. They're trying to make money. They're trying to get paid.
It's insane to me.
If the pharmaceutical companies could sell weed, they would sell weed.
Don't they do that in Canada already?
I think they do.
They probably do. Yeah, I mean, they're trying to make money. They're companies that try to make money. I mean, I get it. It's just that the reality is those processed seed oils are fucking terrible for you. They're terrible for you. If you want to be a vegan, you should eat vegetables.
For sure.
And stop making them look like cheeseburgers. Just get the fuck out of here.
You should grow them too.
God, that looks like rat
That
turds.
looks awful.
That looks so bad. That looks like a bloody rat turd. It's just that can't be good. It can't be good for you if it's filled with palm oils and shit. It's because you have to do a lot of weird processed stuff to make a lot of those fake vegan foods. But if you want to make like Indian food, there was a great vegetarian restaurant near my house in California that was an Indian place, and I mean it was fucking straight from India. Like these people were, they spoke Indian. They all had, or what is it, Hindi?
I think there's a few dialects.
A few dialects?
I think so.
Either way, they spoke whatever they speak in India, and they had, there was everyone there that was eating there was Indian. They were just Indian immigrants. And so I would go there, and I didn't even know what the stuff was. I just pick that one looks good. I'll have something that's like a cafeteria style, and you just point to what you'd like, and they make you a plate. It was amazing. But it was all like, lentils and curry, and it wasn't fake chicken or a fake shrimp or a fake cheeseburger. Get the fuck out of here with that nonsense. And it was healthy. It's healthy vegetarian food. Like, you can eat healthy vegetarian food. There's a lot of it, but it's like it's beans and rice and different ways of preparing it that taste delicious. There's a lot of cultures that excel in making vegetarian dishes. But we've got this weird thing where people are trying to trick people into like
fake stuff.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
But when you're eating that, you're gonna feel like shit. That's why their stock has plummeted. Make sure that's true. What? The stock has plummeted for like Beyond Meat. I think they started out of the gate really strong, and I don't think they're doing so good right now. There was a photo of the when the hurricane was hitting, and they showed these shelves in Louisiana where all the meat was gone, but there was still all the Beyond Meat was still sitting there.
It's definitely way lower over the year.
Yeah, because people tried it. All my friends who are vegans like, you got to try it. It's really amazing. It tastes exactly like a cheeseburger. I'm like, fuck you. It does not. It does not. It just doesn't. It might taste like a cheeseburger if you get Thousand Island dressing on it and pickles and onions and you put it in a bun and you're confused by all the corresponding flavors. Yeah, but if you cut me a piece of cheeseburger, because when I eat cheeseburgers, most of the time I don't eat bread. I take the bread off and I just eat the patties.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's how I eat it. So when you eat like that, it's meat.
Yeah.
I'm not getting tricked. If I eat your bullshit soybean oil, fucking canola seed oil burger.
It's a new McDonald's.
Plant, lettuce, tomato.
McPlant.
Fuck off. Fuck off, McDonald's. I'm not coming to you for health, McDonald's. I'm coming to you because I hate myself. I'm coming to you for horrible food at 1:30 in the morning when I'm starving and I'm coming home from a comedy club or something. I'm eating filet of fishes. Or if I'm really getting crazy, I had a
the
quarter
fish fillet
pounder.
is sustainable.
Fish fillets? Fillet of fish?
McDonald's, yeah.
How is it?
It's good, and it's good fish.
Is it really fish?
Yeah, it's really fish.
I didn't even think it was fish. I
It's
thought it was
really
like
fish, and it's actually sustainably caught. Brilliant.
Really?
Yeah.
What do they catch? What is it?
Cod, I think, obviously.
Cod?
I think so. I don't remember. No, pollock.
Yeah.
Pollock
Pollock,
has to be pollock, yeah.
Really? It's sustainable.
It is sustainable.
How is it sustainable? What's in our fillet of fish? Okay, it says fillet of fish sandwich is made with 100% wild-caught Alaskan pollock.
So it's certified by the MSC.
Healthy as fuck, son. That's what it is. Told you. What's the new one there?
What do you mean?
There's a
over
new
here.
one. What is that? What's that big fat
It's
one?
good.
It's a homemade one. Someone, I think they probably made a YouTube video to say like,
Oh,
I
well,
can make a fillet. of
that
fish
looks
too.
way better. Their homemade
That
one
looks
was
really good.
goddamn delicious. I'm all in. But I had a quarter pounder with cheese recently. Not recently, like 6 months ago. And it was sweet. I was
Really?
eating it. I was like, there's like sugar in this goddamn thing.
I was just going to ask if you guys had heard of, because I worked at a restaurant that served imitation crab meat, but this was a long time ago, so it couldn't have been plant-based.
Oh, lettuce
it's-
sushi. No, it's not. It's fish.
Yeah, it's pollock,
It's a
apparently.
type
I
of
just kind of
fish.
looked it up.
It's
Same,
brown and looks like shit.
same kind of fish.
Yeah.
Is it pollock?
That's what it said.
It's
When I looked it up, not all imitation crab meat is, but
Does pollock taste good on its own, or do they have to fuck with it?
I don't name it in French. I don't know the name in English. It's a
Oh.
brown, ugly fish.
What's the name in French?
Goberge.
Caberge. Does that good? Does that sound like
No, you said it
doing
terrible. You're shit at French.
I'm terrible. I mean, terrible.
You're terrible.
How do you say terrible in French?
Terrible.
Terrible. I'm terrible. That's what I would do if I spoke French. I would just go way overboard. Terrible. Terrible.
You can add George Sheffield to teach you how to speak English.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. That would be the wildest thing to do. Move to another country and learn their language. Like move to France and learn French.
I mean, I was 22 when I moved to London and I didn't speak English.
What?
I was so bad.
That's incredible.
it's very close to garbage, but it's not.
Garbage
Garbage.
d'Alaska. Alaska pollock. How do you say it? Say it again.
Goberge.
Garbage de l'Alaska. How do you say de Alaska? This is
De
an L.
l'Alaska.
Oh, you say an L and then Alaska.
Yes.
You fuck it up.
So it's like it's
fuck up the
Pollock
word.
from the Alaska.
You know that is an American name. You should say it the way we say it. Don't be rude.
Goberge
It's disrespectful.
de l'Alaska.
Go bird, Jay.
It's you're rude. You're ruining our word because our word sounds better when you say Alaska. Don't you understand?
That's fine. Okay. So I will never call you Joseph from that one, right?
Joseph. Call me Giuseppe. But you guys say France. We don't say France.
France.
We don't say France. We say France. France. French
French.
fries. Remember when after like 9/11 we started calling them freedom fries? People got upset.
Freedom.
France didn't support the United States for some reason, so all the knuckleheads started calling French fries freedom fries. These are freedom fries. It was one of the dumbest things about being an American. There's something adorable about real stupidity. Like real, like patriotic stupidity, where it's like it's so dumb. These are fucking freedom fries. No, they're French fries. They've been French fries our whole life, Bob. You can't change the name now because someone who's a politician in France made a choice that you don't agree with. It's a fucking French fry, okay?
I don't even dare making jokes about this.
Oh, yeah.
I live in Florida too.
Is Montreal still locked down, or do they open things back up?
There's a curfew. There's a 10 p.m. curfew. So on.
10 p.m. curfew still.
Yep.
Still. Does the coronavirus go home
Yes.
until 10 p.m. and then it comes out?
Yeah. I mean, the same as what it doesn't exist when you sit down. It only lives below like 5 foot up.
Yeah, when you sit down at a restaurant, it goes away. You know, CNN is now saying that the fucking masks don't do anything. I've been saying this forever. I'm like, how are you breathing? You're breathing in air. Air's getting in the sides. It can't be working.
It's a tough situation. I mean, the healthcare system has been a freaking shit show for so many years. And
Yeah.
now people are paying for it. So it's bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
Healthcare system is terrible.
But it's also, people are so scared. They're so terrified. There's so many wacky fucking people out there that are just running around like a chicken with their head cut off.
Well, they created this whole. So there's been like a very strong media campaign for the last 2 years that it's basically there's two groups of people. Either you're a caring person who's smart, who knows what's good.
Right.
Or you're a conspiracist dumbass who's like selfish and a piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
And there's no in between.
Right.
So it's the second, and it's sad because I had a fight with my own dad. And he was like, well, what now you live in the States and like, well, you became like a Trumpist? I was like, what are you talking about? Because I'm against the lockdown? Because I don't like it. I'm like, what? I was like, no, what is wrong with you?
I just
like,
don't
no.
understand the logic behind a 10 p.m. curfew. I don't understand the lockdown. It doesn't make any sense, especially in a place where everyone's vaccinated. Like, everyone has to be vaccinated up there.
There's 80% vaccination rate.
So does it work? So if it does work, why does everybody have to stay home? Like, what are you doing? This doesn't make sense. It's not a logical approach. Is there a risk? Yes, there's a risk. There's a way to mitigate that risk. And they're trying to, like, figure out a way, and their way is to tell people to stay home. But that's fucked, because then who's going to pay the bills that those restaurants have? Who's going to hire all those people when their business goes under? Like, you're going to fuck your economy up. Like, understand this. You got to let people take their own risks. We're 2 years into this thing. This is not a new thing. This is a thing that's 2 years old now. We're January of 2022. Come on. Like, enough already.
I feel bad. I feel so bad for a lot of people, and it's I understand the concept. I understand that hospitals are overwhelmed. Like, I get it. I get that you don't have beds. I know friends with cancer that haven't been able to get treatments in over 2 years because there's no room for them.
Wacky fucking socialized medicine up there too.
It's
my friend Jen. She had to wait a whole year before she could get her knee surgery up there. She was walking with a horrible limp for a whole year.
There's upsides and downsides, I guess.
Sure. The upsides is you get to treat it for free. It's great.
I feel terrible saying this. Like, I feel absolutely awful saying this. But if I had a serious disease and my life was in danger, I would leave.
You wouldn't go to Alaska.
I would not
No,
go. Yeah,
America,
I would go to Alaska.
land of the free, home of the brave.
But the problem is that I would be in debt for the rest of my life.
Yeah, well, you could crowdfund it.
True, I can crowdfund
Have a little barbecue at your house and a GoFundMe. Well, listen, my friend, let's wrap this up. I got to get out of here. But tell people your social media, where they could find you.
So you can follow me on Valentine Thomas on Instagram. And also, if you suffer from stress and anxiety or insomnia or any of that stuff, I just launched today a breathwork company.
Oh.
Breathwork. Am I saying this right?
Breathwork.
Breathwork.
Pretty good. Say Alaska again.
Alaska?
Yes, good job. Okay, this is your superhuman.
Yes, the Superhumans Co. And it's
breathwork exercises.
So you have breath hold training for just free dive and spearfishing and just breath hold, again, stress and anxiety. I had anxiety since I was 18. I don't have it anymore. And
you've broken through with breathwork?
Yes. So
Nice.
basically we have the company's called Superhumans, and we have super calm, super sleep, super mind, and super hold, and different type of breathing exercises, because it's, as you know, breathwork is so freaking powerful, right? It can help you compared to like Wim Hof. There's a lot of like boosting your immune system and boost adrenaline. We do a lot of the opposite. So it's breathing to sleep better, to control like your stress in everyday life, and like holding your breath. You shouldn't hyperventilate to hold your breath. Like, never do that, especially if you're underwater. It's the most dangerous thing you can ever do. So yeah, it's really great. And there's also, so Supermind is about breathing to be focused. And I think in UFC you see that a lot, right? It's how do you, like the way you breathe before you would enter the hexagon, for example. You want to be focused, but you want to be calm at the same time. And it's this whole, that's very, very powerful thing.
And so that's Superhuman CO?
Yeah, and it's not about it's counting, down to earth, science based. It's not about chakras and
thank you.
things like that.
No crystals?
No crystals.
All right, my friend. Well, thank you very much for coming. I appreciate you. Oh, and then this documentary you're filming with Donnie Vincent, that'll be available.
That's going to be a long time, yeah.
Okay.
My fantastic cookbook will be out before that.
Okay, well, when your cookbook comes out and then that comes out, come back on. We'll talk about that. And hopefully your English will be better.
Probably never. Well, I mean, let's see about your French.
It's terrible.
The next podcast is going to be in French.
Touché. All right, thank you.
Thank you
Bye,
for having
everybody.
me.
My pleasure. Bye.